The Rocky Mountains, about 80 kilometers west of downtown Calgary. The Peace Bridge crossing the Bow River. Calgary, the hometown of this year's BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship 2021. We're at Canada Olympic Park and the Winsport Arena. Beautiful venue. And inside, the ice has been excellent as we are about to start draw number 5 here on day 2 of these championships. Big matchup, Team China taking on the team from the Russian Curling Federation. Teams just wrapping up their practice sessions pre-game. Let's meet Team China. Lead, Xu Jingtao. The second, Wang Zhu. The third, Tian Jiafeng. And the skip, Zhou Xiang. Experienced team representing their country. Team RCF, good start here. Lead, Anton Kalalb. Second, Dmitry Mironov. Third, Evgeny Klimov. And the skip, Sergei Glukov. Said Team RCF off to a quick start, 2-0. Canada, the only team with 3 wins thus far, and you see China down there near the bottom of the standings, 0-2, looking for their first win here early in the round-robin portion of this year's championships. We'll have a look around the other sheets. Our feature matchups over on Sheet A. Sheet B will feature 2-0 Norway taking on 0-2 Korea. Sheet C, Team Germany in tough so far, also 0-2. United States coming off a loss this morning against Nicholas Adine. They're at 1-1. And Adine over there on Sheet D with his first win taking on, surprising perhaps to some, Italy, also 2-0. We'll update many of the games this week, and Mike Harris in the booth here, and my first time working with Melissa Saligo, and Melissa looks like a great matchup here. Important games for both teams for a couple of different reasons, and I'm sure China would like to get their first win here this afternoon.
Oh, definitely, Mike. I completely agree with you. I don't think China wanted to start at 0-2, and most importantly, they don't want to fall to 0-3 to start this championship off. It's a big hill to climb if that were to happen. And on the other side, RCF, Team RCF, great start, 2-0. They've been playing well. That's got to build some confidence moving forward and, coming out here against Team China.
Well, and to that point, RCF, a team that many of us didn't know all that well coming in. And admittedly, starting against a couple of what appears to be weaker opponents, Korea 0-2 so far, and also a win over the Netherlands. But I've been impressed with their shot making, seem to be great sweepers, and looking forward to seeing how they will mix it up here with Team China in this one. And full disclosure, I have worked with the Chinese team, so I know this team fairly well. I coached two of the Chinese athletes extensively a couple of years ago, and I know their second quite well. New third man this season, but no one has thrown more rocks, I can assure you, over the last 12 to 14 months than this team. They're on the ice, 6 to 8 hours almost every day. So wow. Certainly no lack of preparation. And you see Soren Gron in the background there. They've brought in an established coach to help this team, get ready for Beijing. Of course, they're a team that's already qualified for the Olympic Games, being the host country. So not quite the same pressure on this team as some of the others here, including RCF. But
well, and they look loose. You're just watching the skip walk down there. He's smiling and enjoying himself and enjoying the atmosphere, and that's so cool to watch.
Well, and it's one of those things with the language barrier. I was a little nervous first time I worked with the team, not knowing whether you don't know if anyone has a sense of humor. We're a little different. Yeah, you and I maybe have the same sense of humor, but you're never sure when you're dealing with athletes from other countries. And but they're a really nice group of athletes, and there's some talent there as well. So 0-2 is obviously a little slower start than they're hoping for, but they had a shot to beat John Schuster in that opening draw, just missed it. So they're looking to step things up here in draw number 5.
And you're watching the opening, what we used to call handshakes, and due to the COVID protocols here in the Calgary bubble, teams are, I think fist bumps were allowed. I've been seeing some fist bumps and other teams just using their brooms to kind of wish each other luck. So it's very different, very strict protocols here, and everyone's keeping safe, and that's the important thing. Kudos to Curling Canada and all they have done to create this bubble. This is the 4th championship in the bubble.
Yes, 4th of 7.
4th of 7.
Yeah, we've got the World Men's obviously this week. We've got the World Women's coming here in 3 or 4 weeks' time, and in between we've got 2 Grand Slam events being played. So several of the men's teams in this championship and several of the women's teams will be participating in those 2 slams in between. But first things first here, Team RCF with the hammer here in end number 1. And it will be, I just call him Xu Jingtao in the hack here. He'll get things underway for Team China here in the first end.
And you're seeing the results of the last stone draw. Both teams, each one player has to throw a counterclockwise and another player a clockwise rotation closest to the button. And the lowest number out of the out of those total? 2 numbers, yeah, out of those total, that would be the word I'm looking for. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They will get hammer. So here we go, Team China to start off this first end. And Mike, both teams, just looking back, I know they've only played 2 games each so far in this championship, but Team RCF at about a team average of 83%, whereas China is 79%. There isn't a huge difference. There's a huge difference in the standings board of 2-0 versus 0-2, but in terms of their performance, it's very, very close so far. Just making the right shots at the right time.
And good news for us, guard being thrown here by Team RCF to get things underway. So looks like they're willing to mix it up here in the first end. Nice guard from Kalalb. And Xu will throw the center guard now and try to draw play to the middle.
I feel like you're going to say all the Chinese names just to show that you can. Is that what's going to happen here?
The Chinese lead. I'll go with that next end. That's good.
So China, by throwing this one just short of the rings, trying to put pressure, early pressure on Team RCF. But you can see by that picture that it's about half exposed. So an opportunity here now for the Team RCF to hit and roll, perhaps behind their corner guard.
Five rock rule, they're not allowed to remove that guard. That gets by, really well swept. Nice throw.
You can see how close that is. It's got such nice curl, what fantastic ice the teams have been able to play on. Lots of movement and lots of ability to manage the stones.
Wang Xiu, the second stone, played third most of previous season with this team, so he stepped down to allow a new player onto the team. Nice throw.
You see both of these teams appear to be very technically sound, which is, they spend a lot of time on their technical side of the game.
Dmitry Mironov, 28 years old.
By the looks of it, starting at curling at the age of 15, that's actually quite late for a lot of curlers.
Well, your math skills are excellent.
Thank you so much. My dad was a chartered accountant.
There
What
you
could
go.
I say? Both.
Here's our rules of play in these round robin games. Teams required to play 6 ends. 38 minutes of thinking time. That means the amount of time they take to make their decisions between calls, and 1 timeout permitted per team in the 10-end game. And of course, the 5 rock rule, we'll speak a little bit about that, but if you throw rocks short of the rings, for the first 5 stones of each end, you may not remove opponent's rocks that are not in the house. So that's really added a lot of interest, a lot more scoring to the game over the last couple of seasons. You know, the skill level of these teams is so high now. Without that rule in place, you would see a lot of 1-0, 2-1 games, and boring not only for us, but also for the athletes.
Most definitely. So a bit of a hit and roll out there by Team China. So just a small early break for Team RCF. They have the opportunity to draw around their corner guard.
As you alluded to, the ice has been excellent in these first 5 games, so plenty of movement. That one probably still a touch open, but
Got by that guard by about 12 inches.
yeah, decent shot. It is buried. It's drawing play away from the middle, which is a mission accomplished. The Russian Curling Federation team will try to figure out a way to score 2 here. This is a new addition to the team, Tian Jianfeng, 24 years old. I won't pretend to know much about his level of play, but certainly, I said he'll be prepared, ready to go. And looks like a good touch.
Great weight and beautiful shot. Perfect.
Nice touch. Comfortable situation though for Team RCF. No real danger of a steal, and trying to use these corner guards. Evgeny Klimov, 27, 11 years curling. Can you help me?
27, 16-ish?
There you go. There you go. But a nice low stressed end here for Team RCF. Another good one coming in. Good touch.
And again, just with the 2-0 start from Team RCF, they're going to have a lot of confidence. They're going to feel like they know the ice really well. They've obviously been playing some great games and some great ends. And now they're just looking to put that toward a really tough team here in Team China. Communication is so important when playing these freezes, in any shot, of course, Mike, but definitely when you're playing these freezes, the line and weight are so crucial to make these shots perfect.
The weight was perfect, just didn't take the curl. So it's a little bit more open than the other shots around that corner guard. Might be enough space to tap that red by. Difficult to lie to, however.
It looks like they're throwing backline weight, and if they can get by the guard by 4 to 6 inches, it will likely curl fully behind the guard and get to the nose, which is their goal. This one's curling hard. I think it's all over the guard.
So first little miss there. Not terrible in the sense that it's opened up that red shot stone, and it's really blocked a little bit of the path into the rings anywhere else. So we'll see what Team China elects to play. Looking to go wide around that corner guard on the right-hand side as we're looking at it there. So, ice well out there.
I would imagine a couple of reasons for this particular call. One would be that they're coming around their own guard, and so they're not coming anywhere near Team RCF's yellow stone up front there. I'm not sure that I mean, they could easily go around on the in-turn or clockwise side as well, which is more of a draw to the button path. This will be a little bit of fresh ice out here. It's be interesting to see what it does.
I can tell you, having worked with
Quick, Mike.
with Joe,
Math.
started when he was 15, but his outturn is very straight.
Very
so
straight,
he should be able to hold this out there nicely.
Okay, so that's good to know.
And watch Shu, sweeper here on the right-hand side. He's just an excellent judge of weight, and technically very strong sweeper.
Look at that, getting by the guard by a ton.
Beautiful shot.
Wonderful shot. Team China line 2.
It's not easy. Made it look easy though.
Did he ever?
Interesting options here for Glukov. What do you like here, Melissa? I think we've got, you can hit and roll off the one on the right. He could play a freeze of some sort, maybe come around the middle. What would your first choice be?
Well, from our vantage point, it does look like the one that China just threw is open enough, like almost 3/4 open, so he could actually follow him down and get into the inside of that. It's I'd say 3/4 maybe with my young eyes. Or I like the in-turn straight come around as well.
That they're playing now.
Again, going around their own rock, I guess, is a bit more comfortable.
Well, Sergei Glukov has made a number of excellent draws in this game. We've only seen maybe on our updates, but every time I turned around, he seemed to be making a shot for 2 or 3. So he'll be close on this. Needs to get by the center.
Gotta go hard here for some weight. Oh, he's just a bit light.
And he's kind of taken away the inside edge of that red stone on the right-hand side.
I think he has as well, you're right. So
Gonna be hard to get in there.
So Team China has a couple of options. They could throw the exact same shot they threw on the previous one, or they could follow kind of the same path, the in-turn path, and put it top 8 as he's indicating there and completely block it off. And I would say Team RCF would maybe have a tap back.
Yes, a very difficult one
Very
against 3.
difficult against 3. You see where he's putting the broom, just tremendous amount of curl on this ice. It's just wonderful for the players to curl on.
And out of interest, Zoe's in-turn also straighter than his teammates.
You're giving away all their secrets.
If I remember correctly, so we'll see how this goes. It's been a while since I've seen him throw, obviously, but the biggest strength of Zoe is that he remains calm regardless of what the situation is. You never know exactly what he's thinking, which is, it's a good character trait for a skip.
Look at that technical. He's so technically sound. It's a lovely delivery.
That is way out there.
It is forever.
Shu trying to make it curl a little.
That's third shot. So Team China lies 3. Is the triple there?
I think if he hits it enough to get the one on the left, he'll miss the one on the tee line on the right. But a couple of options here for Glukov. He could just make the double on the 2 red on the right-hand side, give up 1, which first end wouldn't be the end of the world. And it looks like he's trying to hit the stone that was just thrown, roll his shooter into the 4-foot area to score his single. Danger, of course, if this over curls, could be a steal of 2.
He was looking at the one that's sitting on the left-hand side as we look at it, and I guess thinking that if it, as kind of a barrier for him, if it does roll flat, he might have that to stop his rock and still get shot.
Final rock here in end number 1 from Glukov, trying to limit the damage or perhaps even score 1. What a great double.
What a fabulous shot.
Mission accomplished for Team RCF here in the first end. He'll get his 1 with the hammer, but both teams will be reasonably happy with that result. Take one more look at this big weight double, really well thrown. Perfect roll into the button. Well swept, well thrown. 1-0 as we move into end number 2. China will have hammer.
Личная линия. Хвост 6. 26. Хороший вес. Линия супер. Только вы. Чуть шире. Поменяться можно? Да. 26.
26. На линии.
Тип. Отлично.
Хорош. Окей.
Хороший.
А теперь ты переходи.
And number 2 underway.
3之间可以啊。
Team RCF throwing up the center.
等等线路。
Team China now throwing the corner. So again,
站位没问题啊。
both teams happy to mix it up early in this round 5 matchup.
OK。
In this particular situation, Mike, just a thought. When you are coming around your own rock, I think as a coach, I usually teach young athletes especially to come along. He's throwing another center. That's why I thought he was actually coming around. So you come around on the side that doesn't have your opposition corner guard.
Just in case it doesn't bury.
Just in
Leave a hit and
case it
roll.
doesn't bury.
Right.
But wow, for Team RCF calling a second center guard.
Hyper aggressive. So game on.
Game on.
So in turn, as you suggested, is the option here for Team China.
等5区啊。线路没问题，线路正常带。
So looking to put this one maybe top 8.
Certainly keeping in front of the T line is the key.
Yeah.
交锋。我6区等，6区等。我。
First update. Over on sheet B, Team Norway taking on Team Korea. Norway 2-0 and Korea 0-2. Stefan Wallstadt looking like he's got a tap for a big one, big end here. Melissa?
I think he looks like he has a tap for 4. If he can get there. Yeah, I believe it's for 4, Mike. Great shot.
Never a doubt, and an ideal start for Team Norway. And Team Korea starting slowly here this week. They had a lot of work to do to make their way up the standings. 0-2 already. See our back on our feature game. Team China's come around came a little too deep, right onto the button, and really tightened up the scoring area here. And Team RCF, maybe a slight missed opportunity in terms of line. Would like to have had that freeze get to the nose. So goal here. What do you like on this one? Try to unlock those.
Even if he can just get to the inside of the yellow RCF stone that was just thrown. I agree with you that the RCF stone was perfect weight, but just needed to curl another 6 inches. So there looks like they're going right across the face. What a shot. So RCF looking to form some angles here now by the corner freezing the top one, top 4.
Scoring area already very tight.
Very
here
small.
for Team China. Good news is they're lying shot stone. Bad news is there's going to be hard to get another one in there. And especially with that very aggressive call from RCF here in the second end, the double center guard with the 1-point lead. You don't see that very often from, more experienced teams.
No, I don't know the last time I actually saw that call, except, unless you're trying to steal later in a game.
There's Coach Soren Gran, who's new to the program in the last year or so, and he's been full-time in China. And I know the team's basically been in a lockdown situation from their residence to across the street from their practice center. So a lot of time to practice and work with the team, but certainly not an easy situation for anyone. Certainly, but Soren's he's an excellent coach, very experienced guy, and I'm sure he's worked very well with the team.
正点不好，正点他一打这俩那个。一打这俩完，咱再往里投。不是，他一打头定这儿了。
Problem stone for me right now, Melissa, is that back yellow.
头定这儿，他一打定。
If you play a freeze, there's no way of getting rid of the top yellow.
I agree. And even if he's looking at trying to, if he puts it where his broom just was, then Team RCF does have the yellow slash. It looks like potentially even the yellow tap. So I agree with you that Yellowstone back 4 isn't helping them. I wonder if they could just nose that top yellow.
Sure, throw a hack the board weight at
Yeah.
right on the nose. That seems to be the call.
Definitely want to move something.
打个定呢，定他就打到我。
定不好，定他这么一打就没。先去这儿传一个啊，垫一点。
我上把力量行吗？
可以。
Looks like they're going to throw draw weight.
上把力量就是7、8斤左右。
Kevin Martin and I were talking about this the last couple of telecasts. The challenge for teams that practice a lot and not playing a ton of high competitive games is no matter how well you're throwing the rock, at this level, sometimes strategy becomes a bit of a hurdle. So, you don't want to say this is the wrong call, and if it's made perfectly, I think it will help. But it's not the easiest shot to play, and they're kind of making their own life a little tougher.
They definitely are. He looks like he's trying to maybe freeze to his own stone or even crotch those 2 stones. But I agree, maybe making his life a little bit more difficult than it needs.
So I believe they're lying too. That's the good news. The bad news is there's plenty of... it's really difficult to get that yellow at the top of the forefoot out of play in one throw. So it'll take at least a couple of shots from Team China to get rid of that stone. But ice conditions have been great here to start the week.
Look at that finish. It's just awesome.
What I've really enjoyed too, and I'm sure the players have loved, is the fact that the draw weight doesn't seem to change, even get into the 10th end of play. And there's Coach Alexander Kozyrev. My apologies if I got that a little off on that one, but jotting notes feverishly here.
So if they could ever get by these 2 yellow stones, and they don't, they clip that top one.
Now, like I said, as difficult of a shot as that was for Team RCF, because China didn't move those yellows around, they're still not in terrible shape. And what will China elect to play here?
Well, they're talking about maybe peeling the top one right now and opening up the ability to get to the scoring area, even though there's 5 rocks sitting there right now. And I think that's what they're going to do.
It's like a run back.
Oh,
That works.
that works. I'm not. Wow, that was a gutsy call, but fabulous shot.
It's always scary running back your opponent's stones, because if they happen to run it back where that yellow stays in play,
I
they're in trouble. But what a great
I
shot
can't
here.
believe they called that shot, Mike, to be honest, but wow. And
No.
then gets the roll under as well.
Still line 2, 3 in a line underneath, and all of a sudden a big end is
Is looming here. Yeah, Team RCF has no option here but to either run back that red one or straight peel it, and that's the worst case scenario.
yikes.
Whoops.
打点边儿就行吗？
So the super aggressive start for Team RCF appears to be backfiring on them at the moment.
You saw Skip Lukov. What have we done? You know, just one miss and one fantastic shot from China, and all of a sudden they're drawing to live 5. They've called this into the rings, I believe. But a guard, even a guard,
Even
would
a
be okay.
guard would be fine. You can hear them calling tight. I think tight is good. I don't know if you need to be in. But you can see him indicating top 12 there.
Definitely want to get this to the center line.
下线 hard 再下一点 hard
Doesn't have a lot of carrying weight. They're trying. Look at it go.
Pretty significant mistake there, not getting that. I'm assuming he's left a hole. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Glukov really doesn't have much of an option but to try to run this through.
Yeah, it looks like there's a hole from that view that really needed to touch the center line. So if Glukov comes through there, I mean, you'll get at least
Get 2 of them. for
two
sure.
going.
Question is whether that middle one will have enough spin on it to get
To
off
get
the
out.
button.
Right.
сверху, это, мне кажется, будет лучше.
But move that red guard to where it's touching the center line, and that would have been bigger help. But the real problem on that shot was the weight. They wanted that top 12. That was
Свой сверху.
8 to 10 feet lighter than they
Right.
needed.
Свой сверху,
Right.
то тогда
Давай
надо
дальше слабый, давай дальше слабый. Лимон.
The line would have been
Свой
fine
оставим,
if
если
the weight
чё,
was
потом
there.
хотя бы через свой пробить. Вот так вот.
ролл сюда играем.
Да.
Тут просто достает.
So it'll be interesting to see what weight they're throwing here. Mike,
Ну, выбивать пилом, они
I think they're talking about,
приведут
I mean, I assume they would like to hold their shooter, that you just see them indicating that they'd like to hold their shooter there, but that would be a weight call.
If they throw big weight and just simply get rid of 2 and roll the shooter, well, they're still in danger giving up 3.
Просто если мы
хотя бы
делаем
толкнуть или еще что-то.
Whereas if they maybe throw a less weight, but you got to get through that port as well. It's hard to navigate that port with less weight.
Окей, что тебе нравится? Контрол?
Да.
Control.
Давай.
The international language of curling.
So he throws control,
Чуть-чуть
removes
шире, да.
one, maybe shooter rolls behind that red guard that was just thrown. I still think they may be sitting 3 after that, but we'll wait and see. It's a tough shot.
Well, the first real test here for Team RCF Skip. Facing a bundle. First rock on the way.
Сип! 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 Воу! Сип! Сип!
First job, get through the port.
Воу! Сип, 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 чуть-чуть ролл.
Окей.
I think that's the best he could have done.
Still
With
lying
that shot?
3. Yeah, China's still lying 3, and that yellow's in a great position for Glukov to use on its next one.
Great call, great shot, and great, well thrown. I mean, you couldn't do. It's too bad that red one didn't spin out a little bit more.
Воу! Сип, 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 чуть-чуть ролл.
Nice shot.
I think it'll force China to guard the hole.
I agree. I don't
And
think they
then-
would have any other choice.
And you hope that you can figure out a way to get rid of another one, another red one at some point.
意义不大，他下个球把这个打
Yeah, I
定
think you have to guard
把
here.
这打定就跑吧
You，can't leave that yellow there.
No.
只能防他这个现在啊。
你站也得站到这儿，
对，我就主要正线啊。
或者你站他这个角，
中线稍微掉了一点。
我最好。
Looks like there might be a hit available on that left-hand red,
我
perhaps.
肯定先奔
Might be a
中线
port
啊
there, but that's very difficult.
如果线路好
I suspect if the guard's made, you might see Glukov play the in-turn freeze and try to cut China down to 2.
逆时，
可以。
我还是先奔中间，因为他找他也不一定，对不对？
这个点能下来吗？差不多。来边。
Gone to the out turn.
来边，你是投圆心的点。
差不多。
So definitely want to block that port between the yellow and the red guard here. Team China's first skip rock on its way.
力量够就清带进去。
别着急啊，
得擦2区。
力量够清带进去。
Want to keep it out there as long as they can, and
线路没问题。
it'll finish if the weight's good.
有点掉线了。
2区啊，
没事，自然停就行。
1区，
自然停吧。
1区，
自然停，自然停，
1区。
Nicely done.
That does the job. And that's the shot that you indicated there, Mike, Team RCF. They could throw the in-turn wide and try and freeze. And I don't know if China would have an option for 3 at that point. I don't think so. There's not a lot of room. I don't know if he could come around enough to tap it a couple of inches. It's pretty tough.
I'm sure they'd be happy just to freeze
I
right
would
in the
agree
pocket
with you.
and give up 2.
Yep, I would agree.
This is no bargain, no? Go very wide and
Я думаю 0.
get the weight right.
Хороший вес, фриз, контакт. Контакт. Точно контакт.
Антон, нет, Антон, нет.
Женя!
Женя, линия, делайте вес.
Klimov on this now, trying to make it curl.
Делайте вес.
Line is great if he can get it there. Line is really great. What a shot.
Блин, я думал, можно было еще подождать.
Let's go to an update over on sheet C. John Schuster and his defending Olympic champions got 1 in the first. This is a shot for young German skip Totzik.
传一个球，没别的了。
Looks like a tap for 2 here.
得传点大点白的吧。
得传那个里边。
He's been facing some difficult shots here in the first 2 or 3 matches.
Hey, up. What's up? Oh, nee.
This one's pretty simple.
Hard down.
Trying to make it curl.
Hard, Tommy. Hard.
And that was wide open and unforced error there.
Very, yeah, that's unfortunate. So on our sheet, it looks like Team China's playing the angle run. Just with
Angle tap.
Angle
T-line
tap.
T-line double tap to the side of the button. Easy one.
That sounds really easy. That was a lot of words.
下线，下线，
He's close. He's close. Oh, good try.
That was an excellent try. You won't get any
Wow.
points for that one, but that was a great throw. But I think a sigh of relief from Team RCF as they hold China to only 2. And I think both teams happy after the first couple of ends here. We'll watch. Yeah, did this just a touch thicker, actually, to get a better angle.
Yep.
Had the weight right.
Weight was perfect.
But
Good try.
nice score 2 for Team China. They'll take a 2-1 lead into the 3rd end of play, and Team RCF will have last rock when we return.
挺好，挺好。继续打就行啊，正常打就行。先进，看人站位。好，加油啊！先进，咱再站。
现在是踢线8区左右。
You're watching live coverage of the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship from Winsport Arena here in Calgary as we start end number 3.
13秒2啊，太大。
Team China really had Team RCF in some trouble there in number 2, but Team RCF dodged the bullet, only gave up 2. They'll have the hammer here in end number 3.
We talk about that super aggressive call by Team RCF, throwing a second center guard without hammer. And again, something you don't see very often when the score is close and it's early in a game.
They may not do that again.
No.
It just caused them some trouble.
It sure did. So opportunity here now. They're just going to put their corner guard up, and they're comfortable with hammer here, throwing the corner.
Let's catch up on sheet B after giving up that 4-ender in the first. Norway, ton of pressure on Korea here again. They're lying 5. It's only a draw to the forefoot, but against a handful, a little extra pressure here. Line's pretty good. Weight's okay.
It's a pressure shot, but perfect outcome.
Sigh relief. And let's go over, catch up on sheet D. Team Italy, undefeated so far, taking on two-time defending champion Nicholas Sedin. Italy lying a couple here. Took a double attempt. You double for 2 here. That over curl, surprising miss there from Team Adine, and 3-point swing. Instead of being up 2-1, they're down 2-0 early over on sheet D. Well, slightly more conservative approach here from both teams in end number 3, Melissa.
We had an exchange of hits there, and now with that rock just rolling away a little, it gives Team RCF an opportunity to draw around their corner guard that they placed there earlier in the end.
Or hit if they so choose, I think.
Did they call the hit? Well, maybe they
Yeah,
did.
the ice works for both. I'm not sure. We'll see. As
Yeah, sorry, you did call the hit. I thought he
it's
called
a
the draw.
hit. Yeah, you know, I think early in the game they're thinking they get the hammer going into 4 and try to control the scoreboard a little bit, but
both teams did eat up a bit of time in that previous end as well, so a conservative end is not the worst thing.
key here for China, just make sure they stay. Don't let Team RCF have a free chance at a come around without any pressure. So, well done. As we get into the later stages of this end, you'll see an attempt maybe by China to roll behind the corner, force RCF to score. But, a little early yet.
Есть слабый! Сип! Сип! Сип, 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 сип.
Nice shot.
你给我收远点吧，强哥。
你要给啊。
With this quiet end, Melissa, maybe talk a little bit about the sweeping techniques. You know, the player on the inside, that's where the rock is curling towards their feet. So in this case, on the right-hand side, that sweeper will be the one who they call on to keep the rock straight. In this case, Xu trying to keep it straight, and if they needed it to curl, sweeper on the opposite side would jump in. And this is, you know, you've been coaching a number of years now, and this is one of these things that when we were competitive curlers, how did we not know this? But all of a sudden, this is certainly the norm now for these competitive teams.
And we had the hairbrushes.
Right. Could have made even more damage if we needed to, right?
And it's been interesting. Jill and I were talking it in the earlier broadcast about, you know, some of the teams, like we were watching Team Canada, and they do that kind of 45-degree angle similar to what Team RCF is doing here. But I've seen, I believe, Team China and even Team Korea maybe just having their broom head in a different position, so it's more of the skinny angle going across, trying to push the rock over for curl.
And all these teams would practice this technique extensively. I always tend to defer to the best sweeping teams in the world to see what they do. And you know, we've got some great sweepers here at this championship. So whatever Team Adine is doing, whatever Team Botcher is doing, whatever Team Schuster is doing, that would work for most people watching, tuning in here.
It's always the question when you see young athletes trying something different or doing something different, and if they're not doing what the teams you just mentioned are doing, then why are you doing it? Because I think they probably have tested it enough to know what
trying to
works.
make this curl. And to your point there, that Kalal was kind of going straight up and down the line where he said you want that 45-degree angle to get the rocks to really move nicely. So with that rollout now, chance for Team China to get around that corner guard. And really, again, the point really isn't to steal here. It's not a great opportunity to score without last rock, but they can certainly force RCF into taking one with hammer, and that's kind of a moral victory when you don't have last rock to force your opponents to score one.
That's one thing that Team China hasn't done well in their first two games. Their force efficiency is only at 10% thus far, and their hammer efficiency is not even that.
Well, we were talking about that before the game, that their hammer efficiency, and what we're talking about is how often with last rock do they score 2 points. It was 0.
It was 0.
So they've just scored 2 with last rock. That's the first multiple end that they've scored with the hammer here in this championship. So they'll be happy to get that stat off of 0. Could have been much more than 2, in fact. But this has got some great weight. It's going to stop in front of the tee line, and all of a sudden, Team RCF is facing a force.
That was a great shot.
Perfectly buried in front of the tee line. So 2 ways of defense here. I guess they're going to play, first call was to come around. Second option is to freeze. They could play the run back, but that's obviously, there's some risk there. I like this call. Try to score 2. If you know you're going to be forced to take 1, you may as well try to score 2 somehow.
Yeah, where that Team China rock has stopped at the top 12, they do have the opportunity to get in behind it. So, like you say, the deuce is still alive.
Difficult.
Difficult. They took a little bit more ice than Team China did for the same line, but they do have to get by that second stone.
It's not light. Did it stop in time? I think it's perfect.
I think it is perfect.
Stopped
Wow.
just shot by about 2 centimeters, I would think. Couldn't have walked it down there any better. So, Team China, there it is. Dead buried, shot by an inch. Perfect. Sweepers need to manage this properly. Even if this is an ounce heavy, they could just get by their own red and nudge that yellow back far enough as well. It's another option. But pressure shot here for Zoe.
8区啊
6区就清带就行。
6区啊，
6区
6
区清带主要线路。
就行。
提线6区啊，
我比着急，线路大，
提线啊，
线路大。
先不着急擦。
Now you just watch the Rockets is trying to
停在上面就行
take the curl.
我放地。
喝一下呢。
Whoa, hard.
It ticked the yellow, but I don't know if it moved it far enough. As we go to the update on sheet C, it's like an angle raise of some sort for John Schuster.
I think it's a double angle. And no,
Just a tough way to score 2. So a good force there from Team Germany, and they'll get the hammer down 2-1 as they head into end number 4. And back on our sheet, Team China did touch that yellow stone, but I don't know if they moved it far enough. This might be a tap for 2 here, Melissa.
well, I heard you were undefeated, Mike, so you get to pick.
No, I'm never right, is what.
Oh, is
that's
that what it
yes,
is? I think it is still yellow.
I believe you. Glukov's last here in end number 3. Tap for 2, we think.
Сип!
Нужно прям стей.
Looks pretty good.
Nice control weight.
Не, ну рочки
Wonderful shot.
Меряем?
Что-то мерить.
I think it's yellow.
Там на 20 сантиметров.
It is yellow.
То есть, несмотря на то, что мы его толкнули...
2 back for Team RCF. And they will jump back out in front. 3-2 here after 3. And Team China gets the hammer back next end.
Ну, там щетки было, что, мне кажется, ну... Ну вот это все так и есть. Такая... Все, уже почти готовится. Жень, посмотри, пожалуйста.
Готовься. Можешь активировать камень, протереть.
Блин, я на самом деле теперь смотрю все время почему-то.
Все, можешь поехать.
Можно.
Ну, единиц. Да.
4th end of play here in our feature matchup between Team China, Team RCF.
Хороший вес. 5-6.
Линия тоже. Штойгард.
Лучше Димон.
Чуть шире.
5.
Pretty
Ниже,
called that a
ребят.
soft 2 scored by Team RCF in end number 3.
Точно?
Team China will be a little disappointed with
Поближе.
their last. Had a pretty simple opportunity to get the force, and unfortunately Rock didn't curl enough. They'll look to bounce back here with 2 of their own.
So same tactics that we saw a couple of ends ago, where Team RCF throws the relatively tight center guard and Team China throws the corner. Except this one's going to slip into the rings.
Interested to see if interested to see if RCF throws the double center again, but they may hit with this rock coming into the rings.
If they threw the double center, I'm not sure what we would say, but I think this is the right call.
Well, definitely with the rock in the house, certainly. Anton Kalal, 86% through his first couple of games.
Жестче. Не бросай. Не бросай. Ролл нет. Сип. Да. Ролл, да.
Казалось, уже очень
Not
много
bad, rolling
свалил, да.
into the middle.
Хорошенько.
Try that corner guard again. Says Team China. Watch this roll here.
Жестче. Не бросайся.
Again, inside sweeper going hard on it to keep it straight.
Казалось, уже очень много свалил.
3局。3局。
得下线啊，
稍微等一等。
轻耐着。
最好下点这个，下点太近
In
了。
this case, Team China trying to make it curl a little bit. Person on the high side sweeping.
我觉得按这劲儿
That's a little better. Again, Shu having a good tournament, 91% through 2 games. Hasn't translated into any wins yet, but again, like as you alluded to in our opening, solid stats so far for Team China through 2 games.
Только в конце. Не-не-не, нормально будет, я думаю. Подожди. Подожди. Внимание. Во-во-во.
Dmitry wasn't sure he liked that throw, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Again, trying for the curl. Team RCF trying to keep the play in the middle. They don't want to allow Team China to go around their corner guard. That one's wide open though.
11局差不多能甩你半个球。OK。
So throw a quiet weight hit here. If they hit a little on the outside, as we're looking at, might get lucky on the double, and if not, they can roll partially buried. Couple of options. Wang Xiu, 78 through first 2 games.
第一个没问题啊。
二，掏。Yep.
This is closing in on that center guard pretty quickly.
You almost saw there wasn't a lot of handle on that one, Mike. It was a little bit on the flat side and I believe down in weight as well.
Yeah, probably a touch light. That ticked the guard. Good news is he rolled into the rings, and will force Team RCF to make a play on it.
Okay.
Combination of a little bit inside and a little bit light. Never works out very well.
No.
Поднять.
Just going to roll that one off.
Никто не все, не ушел, нет.
Просто
That yellow guard is now blocked off the outturn or come around of that corner guard. So hit and roll opportunity here now to go behind those 2 guards for Team China.
10秒偏小一点啊。
Well, Lee.
1个1。
Yep.
2。
Well, Lee. Yep. Well.
It's in the ballpark.
Well, 掏准备。Hard. Yep. Go. 好点。是。
Caught in between, right in the port maybe.
It was a good shot. I'm not sure how big that port really is. Ooh, it's pretty tight.
Lots of room from here in the hack. And up in the booth, we don't miss up here. But Glukov's electing to play the draw around that yellow guard, try to lie 2. Safer call, a little easier shot. Evgeny Klimov at 73. He said with being 2-0, that's a little low, lower than certainly you'd like to be, but hasn't hurt them yet. Still undefeated. This is diving towards that guard. Just gonna tick, so
Ну и вес потерял, кстати.
chance now for China to make a double, lie 2. You're looking at the hit and roll. I kind of like the
想甩得远一点，因为我估计下一个他就找了。
I don't mind the hit and
喜欢
roll.
这个。
哎，这个反正可
But I-
以大风甩过去，反正。
I don't know if you're going to get a better chance at throwing a double or the double opportunity, so why not? Why not play the double right
这个
now?
不重要，重要的就是你甩到这儿了，他下一个是这么
I
找。
can tell you in my year plus working with the team, I didn't learn any Chinese, so I have no idea what they're saying at this point. Their translator back there, Henry, was very helpful. Okay, they've elected to play the hit and roll.
10秒，10秒，主要是甩头，不要 double。嗯，给我说点点睛啊。10秒。
Again,
good
they'd like,
numbers.
yeah, 86 through 2 games is very good for third position.
Clean。
So if they make a good hit and roll here, Team RCF is likely going
能
to
来一点一点。
look at that short run back.
OK。
Or they could actually throw, I think they're shot rock, right? They could actually throw the come around.
Play the come around again, but certainly a lot of pressure.
啊，得选他这么打就是选了他。
你选我。
Нравится вести?
Ну а что?
В принципе, если он здесь будет, то неплохо.
Ну да.
Если просто я не пробиваем, мы даже и камни не открываем.
Окей.
Хорошо, получится.
I think this is the right call.
It
Здесь
is.
4 также. Щетку такую же оставлю, чуть-чуть больше.
Мне кажется, может чуть...
And if you're Team China, you don't want to look back and go, should we have maybe moved that yellow stone in the back 4 earlier when they had the opportunity?
Or just there. Yeah, they had a great chance. Big shot, important shot here for Klimov.
Линия отличная.
Линия нормальная. Все вес.
Линия супер, может, Антон?
Воу. Шире.
Делай вес. Все, линия супер,
Только
делай
вес,
вес.
ребят. Внимательно. Внимательно. На счет.
Нельзя делать вес. Подожди.
Внимание, Антон.
Тивань.
Воу.
Сам вес, сам.
Уровень с этим.
Сам.
A little deep.
Плохо. Хорош.
Buried though, but
Эй,
Окей. Окей. 试试打。
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Again, running your opposition stone in. I guess maybe trying to play the run double there.
well, ideally, I think you get rid of one of the yellows in the rings and you roll your shooter out of the way a little.
没给啊。No。
Oh, he didn't like it.
OK。 OK。
Let's go over to sheet B. Update. Finally, a couple of yellow Korean stones in the rings there, I'm sure, to their relief. This looks like it's shot for 1. It is, and well done there from Wallstadt, and they'll regain that 4-point lead as they head into end number 5.
Den Merkel der, den der inne oppover der.
Без свипа.
Поставь счет.
Вообще та же щетка, потому что
I think Team RCF looking perhaps to replace that guard that was just removed by China.
Yeah, guard or freeze are both good options. It's a question of which one they like better.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one they indicated.
я кидал,
We've got China in a heap of trouble right now.
поэтому тебе нужно 0 кинуть.
But the forefoot's still open. The scoring area is still open for China to score.
And there's Grukov 84% in those 2 wins so far.
О, линия есть. Снова вес. Только в конце.
Внимание, линия.
Линия супер, воу. Линия отличная, только вес, ребят. Просто фриз на желтый. Смотри. Шире.
Definitely looks they're coming into the house with this one,
I
Melissa.
believe so.
Антон.
Don't really want to bounce this very far. That's a
No,
good shot.
That's a great shot.
Не очень хороший. Все равно небольшой контакт вышел, может быть, надо было до самого конца.
The question is, can they hit that thin enough just to make a double on those 2 yellows with peel weight? Maybe spin the shooter out of there. Other options, throw it quietly and stay in the 4-foot area somewhere.
It looks like there's enough room if they wanted to throw the double and lose their
I
shooter.
think it's the only chance they have of scoring 2, really, isn't it? Throw some weight.
I believe so.
打定主要是你先赢他。
那就得打甩一下。大力打甩过来，正好3号、6号没有。
Or try to tap it back and stay in front of the 2 yellows.
他也能这么顺着走，
两个都出不去，你要是偏那边一点，
对，
打定偏外一点，
偏那边一点，两个都出不去。
打定意义不大，打甩过来，
就是大力打甩嘛。
打甩过来，
啊，
是不是？
3号顺着指 能出去。
我感觉打甩有点好一点。
打到这儿吗？
打甩。
打这儿这俩黄子全没。
对，就是
这俩黄子全没。
对，3号直横着走，你要力量够的话。
打到这儿。
对你顺势打，完了
这么挤，这么挤。那也可以。
Team China
对，就是
spending a lot of time this first half of the game on some strategic conversations.
Looks like they're going to try some weight on this, see if they can't spin that top yellow out of play. Looks like they maybe try to glance it off their own red and have it spin hard to the right as we're looking at it. Need to be very precise. The key is saving your shooter somewhere in the 4-foot area.
Zhao at 67% for the tournament thus far, reflecting their 0-2 starts, unfortunately, but playing well here today.
Okay, got it out of the 4-foot area. Team RCF still lying 2, but it's a pretty simple double for China on their last. So a freeze is called again here, but this has to be third shot, or China will have a pretty easy shot to score a big end again.
Yeah, Sergey throwing the exact same shot that he threw on his previous one.
And doesn't need to be super precise with
No.
the line. Just make sure they lie 3.
Exactly.
There'll be no triple available.
Делай вес, ребят. Только вес, только вес. Делай вес. Только вес, ребят. Очень прямо. Линия
It's up to the sweepers.
Подожди чуть, Жень, Вов,
Пошел, Валерий. Ничего страшного, если прям. 14.90. Внимательно. Вот сюда.
This looks really good.
Waits. It's okay. I mean, if you absolutely had to score 2 points, you could probably play a little around the horn shot, but not really worth the risk here, I don't think, in number 4.
I don't think so. They talked about it for about a split second.
Yeah, I think the draw for 1 is the prudent call.
So full 4 needed here for Team China to score 1 in the 4th end.
是，但是他往边上投。4秒。
Zhou through beautiful draw and number 3. So we'll see if he can do this again.
Probably looking for about a 14-8, I think they were saying,
Yeah.
maybe hog to hog.
Yeah, 14-8, 15, somewhere in there.
That's the time the rock travels between the 2 hog lines.
Hog to hog. Obviously, the faster it's moving, the quicker the time. 14-8, good call.
Whoa, that's exactly what I call. Gotta go, though.
Should be okay.
Great shot. Lovely.
Well done, but a good force there from Team RCF. Game will be tied here 3-3 through 4 ends of play. And it will be team representing the Russian Curling Federation with last rock in end number 5.
站一个头。
OK。
Tie game here through 5. Few interesting ends so far, Melissa. We've
23之间
saw
可以。
second end where China could have scored a handful, and
下路很好。
a hard-fought single there for
3区。
this team in the 4th end, but they've given up the hammer here now, and we'll see what Team RCF can do with last rock here in number 5.
来点，太高了，太高了。
Thus far, this championship, Team RCF has a 50% hammer efficiency. So again, that's when they score 2 or more points. Small sample though, just the first 2 games.
That's a good number though.
It is. It's a really good number. So center guard thrown by Team China. And it looks like Team RCF is actually coming around the center guard. Love this to be, and it just picked.
There's that double center that
There's
they're
a double center.
unintentional.
Whoops.
Вон, прям полоска.
I think they had their brooms down too.
It's the first pick we've seen so far. Had the odd one kind of over curl, but that was a blatant pick.
下路可以。
6区感觉。没有6，没有6，带着，差点。
稍微带着
Small
点
door
稍微
opening
稍微
here for
带着
Team
点
China to get one buried behind those 2 guards.
稍微带着点就行，那会儿有东西。
力量，
下线带，下线带。
力量，得下啊，6区，6区，
6等一等。
That was such a smart play
减速就减速再
by
下。
Wong. He actually went, he was the outside sweeper, and he went quite a ways ahead to clean the ice as the rock and the other sweeper were coming down. Very heads up.
Yeah, quite often you say when there is a rock, pick up some debris that might still be there. You go
Yeah, you never
save
know.
yourself the trouble, right? Get ahead of the game.
It's just a good awareness.
Nice come around there. So Kalal will try to make the freeze here.
6-4, внимательно. 6-4.
Надо подождать.
Вес.
Вес сам, вес тоже.
This has some curling to do.
Вот сейчас можно наехать начальник.
Maybe a titch heavy and just didn't pick up the same curl, but it is
也可以减一点
slightly
甩回头
frozen.
小。
The dreaded bounce
The
off
bounce,
the freeze.
yeah.
I hate when that happens.
7.7.
Oh yeah, it's pretty wide open, so good opportunity here for China. Just throw a tap back. Don't want to overthrow this one. This is a really important weight shot.
呀，二头，
二头，
全力的，二。
You can see that center line coming into play very quickly. Trying really hard to get it by. Good brush. Almost overcurled. It did overcurl.
OK，可以。
I'm with you. I would have liked to have seen maybe if I was on that team, would have maybe throw a little more weight at that.
Yeah.
Yellow was completely open,
二不能放，二。
but
Yeah, that was a lot.
OK，可以。Так и ставлю.
well, we had that bad break. Team RCF, they're gonna try to clean things up here, double off the guards, roll the shootout of play, and watch where the back red goes. Could do some damage to those stones in the rings as well with proper contact. Mironov looking to throw some big weight at this.
Сив. И до конца. Сив. Жестче. Да. OK，再见。не трогай. 一直抬。OK，
10秒，
10秒。
还是抢一线，喜欢哪
长一线吧。
个？啊，
长一线。
Pretty good throw there. Left the center guard. Left one of the
Yeah, it
Stones
didn't
in the
change
rings
a
as
whole
well.
lot. Change rock colors, I think. Team China, opportunity to remove the RCF stone in line 2.
0。
Continuing to put pressure here on Team RCF, who has the hammer here in the 5th end. Oh, that one overcurled as well.
It's an unforced error.
A few mistakes here, back and forth.
还有进营那个也是。
10秒，我都松手了。
Но все равно к ним придется играть.
Let's go another update here over on sheet D. This is a live update. There's a lot of yellow hanging around here. Melissa and Nicholas Sedin is throwing last stone, yellow. Looks like he's got a little run back. Potential 3.
About 3 or 4 rocks ago, Mike, there was actually 3 or 4 red stones in the rings. And now, as you say, it's just a sea of yellow except for that one red stone. They looked at it for quite a while to see if they can hit that and not jam it on the back one.
Got a curl to get by the top. Trying to get it out for 3, and I believe he moved it far enough.
I believe so.
Nice touch there from Edin after the miss. 3 on the board. They'll go ahead 3-2 after 4.
Gick lite tid, men vi ligger ändå helt okej.
Team RCF was looking for the hit and roll there, leave some separation between these 2 yellows. Rolled right beside their stone, and that's you know, I think people think that's an easy double and they're right dead beside each other, but
it's really not.
It's not. And the double attempt was there, but spins the shooter out of play, and now all of a sudden a great opportunity for RCF to score 2, maybe even 3. Still 4 rocks to come for team from the Russian Curling Federation. Klimov just trying to get this buried in front of the tee line, and there'll be 2 in the rings, 2 yellow guards, and a ton of trouble for China. This is not light.
This is not light. Want to put it in the best position that they can. Did curl a whole bunch, but it is deep. I'm not sure if the double's there. Hit and roll. That was a great opportunity for Team RCF, and you don't get a lot of opportunities during a game, so you want to try and take advantage of it as when you can.
打到1/3吗？打到这儿，行，后了就打甩。OK， 8秒。那你就给小点。
Big weight hit and roll, big weight double, one of the 2.
8秒。0。你要可以大一点啊。嗨 ！Forward！ 哇！哇！哇！哇！帅 ，OK， 好球。
There were options. That was the roll option.
That was the roll. It's pretty good. There's a lot of space once you get by that guard, though, that Team RCF might be able to get to the face of it, to the nose, and tap it back a little. But really great shot by Team China. Those aren't easy.
No, and key here for Klimov, just tap this stone back, even if he's not lying to, just get it in front of that red China stone, and still a chance to score big end. Definitely tighter line on this one. Very well swept, and his shot stone. Well, Korea facing, speaking of sea of red, there's another sea of red, Team Norway, and tough shot to score here again. Both shots to score for Team Korea have been against 4 and 5 reds.
Wow, a lot of pressure on the young skip. Looks pretty good. That's a great shot.
Just hanging in. Down to 3 without now at the break. Norway in full control on sheet B.
This is China's first skip stone.
来，俩一起，俩一起，别瞅了。
顶线。
I think they said it's light.
They're rolling already. It's gone.
It's gone. Not sure what happened to that, Mike, unless it was just simply light out of his hand.
User error, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shu got on that right away. He knew it was light.
Мы играем на 2, а не на 3. Если он будет бить, может сам свой выбьет камень.
We'll take a look at this out of his hand, but you won't see much decision making from the sweepers on this one.
Such a solid delivery, and
6区停线啊！
I think it was,
And go.
yeah, it was just straight light, straight
顶线。
soft kick, soft release, yep.
这是手开了。
So really good opportunity here now for Team RCF to get another one buried behind those two corners. They're already sitting one. Chance for a potential 3 is on the table right now.
Линия будет. Только вес, линия супер. 4 до, ребят. Линия отличная. Жека, Жека. Смотрим вес. Только вы. Валить не надо. Ничего. Вот сюда Стой.
Pretty good shot. Probably a rock deeper than they would have liked. China can make the corner freeze here and take the end away.
OK。
That rock had stopped about another foot higher. Would have certainly made things a little more difficult.
And that's such a big difference. And Jill and I talked a lot about tolerance, Mike, and that's what you teach as a coach, is the tolerance of, you have to think ahead. You have to think about where the best position to put that rock is. By putting it just that foot deeper, you're right. It could, Team China has the ability to take this end completely away from Team RCF now if he makes a perfect shot here.
Hard to recover from a rock that was just 20 feet light. We'll see what goes on. Let's check in on John Schuster over there on sheet C. He's ahead, but Team Germany looking at maybe a difficult shot for 2. I'm not sure that's going to be there for more than 1. We'll follow along. Back on our sheet, this freeze attempt is completely different flight path.
He's getting by the guard by 2 feet. Trying to take it back.
May have gotten lucky and gotten away with
I
it.
think you're right. Can they get that?
If they can get to the nose, though, it might be a double for 3 or 4.
I'm not sure they can make the double without removing that back yellow one.
So 3 then.
They're trying to figure out if they can even push it enough. I think they can.
Over on
Should be
sheet
some
C, the double attempt. Will that yellow squeeze out of the back of the 12-foot?
What
does.
a shot!
I think the only reason you play that is that red one over on the right-hand side is in. I think it likely is with that call.
Wow, what a shot.
They're going to
They're gonna
measure it, I think.
it.
We'll let you know if it's 1 or 2. But based on the call, probably for 2. There's a good look at our sheet. This is a double for a couple. This is curling. And what a shot.
Great shot. Lovely. 3 on the board.
That
That's
is why
fantastic.
this team is undefeated here early in the game. Every time they've had those opportunities, Glukov has come through with the goods. Have another look at this one. Big weight, double, end-to-end swept. Well done. Hard work by those brushers to get it by.
Nice.
6-3 at the break. Team RCF leads. Team China, a little work to do in the second half. Well, let's take a look at the first half of the game here. Let's some of the highlights. Third end. This was a kind of a, we call it a soft 2. The miss from Zoe and lightweight tap back here for Glukov to get 2 on the board, and made no mistake, of course. But it was the fourth end when China really had a big opportunity here, and they didn't recognize early enough when they had a chance for 2. But Zoe with a nice draw here.
Yeah, drawing against 3. We saw the clock, 14.8, hog to hog, and makes no mistake.
And as nice as that draw was, it was a couple of missed draws in the fifth end that led to this big opportunity here for Team RCF.
Sergey throwing the high, hard one, looking to make the double. He can't save his back yellow, but it's a big shot for 3, and makes no mistake. And that's a big 3 on the board for Team RCF.
As we take a look around at these other games in session 5, Norway in control over Korea there on sheet B, 5-2 up. Germany did in fact score 2 there in the fifth end. The measure was just going on. It's 3-2 in fact there at the fifth end break, and then you saw the lovely tap back by Nicholas Adin in the fourth end to take a 3-2 lead over a very tough team from Italy.
是那球不投5局了吗，强哥？投到5局他单不赢咱，他只能往后局选能赢咱。
Okay, guys, let's go. Go. Good. Come on, man. Let's go. Темп.
В сторону хочешь? Им, наверное, так же, да?
Где тебе больше нравится, как обычно?
Ой, это аут.
Out.
And here are the percentages through 5 ends of play, and overall Team China slightly ahead, but the key position at skip, Glukov certainly outplaying his opposition in Zhou Xiang, and it's showing on the board 6-3 so far.
这个力量比上岛平。
Fire. Okay. Чуть-чуть добавил. Сколько это?
26.
Смотри внимательно. Встречный вес 6, я как будто крутится.
Линия супер. Чуть шире,
По-моему,
может.
только Димон.
Не, все, линия есть.
Well, second half of the game, certainly
Итак, тогда
strategy is clear for Team China. Score 2 with last rock, hold your opponents to 1 or less, and try to climb your way back out of this 3-point deficit.
Okay. And so there's the difference with Team RCF in the first half of the game, when they were either tied or maybe 1 up, and the score was really close. They would put the first center guard up without hammer. Now being 3 up, a little bit more comfortable, feeling a little bit more in control, they decide to go into the rings and allow China to throw their corner guard. And I think that was a smart play by Team RCF, putting that first one in. Don't need a lot more points. Just don't want to give a lot of points.
Давай.
I think what you said too is key, Mike, is that it's important for Team China to look at getting a deuce back. They don't want to be overly aggressive. They don't need to go all out for a 3. They still have 5 full ends to play. So don't overdo it. Just try and get your deuce.
Ждем.
Вес вообще нельзя.
Окей.
За него 8 за будет.
Нет, ничего, не трогаем. Отскок, Дима, небольшой. Стой, не надо.
Очень сильно, да, извини.
Окей.
Don't think that's what RCF was looking for.
Trying to tap it straight back, I think, was the call,
I
but
do
didn't
believe.
get the line. So 5 rock rule in play. Team China going to throw a double corner guard.
Давай,
You see Xu Jingtao down a little this game, 83 from 90 for the week. A couple of guards slipping into the rings.
下路没问题啊。
Couple of draws going behind the tee line.
我
Would have hurt those numbers.
掉下了。
A good start here and in the 6th. And now just a question of trying to find a way to use those corner guards now.
I think the outturn or the counterclockwise rotation is definitely a preference for Team RCF. They seem to pick that more times than not.
Чуть шире. Если пятый, то поменяться. Если вверх, то надо поменяться.
Шестой будет.
Вдвоем. Ближе к центру. Да-да-да, перевал,
Want a piece of the center line here. Not going to quite get it. So chance now for China to make a play on these rocks in the rings. And they've got 3 guards, so the end is set up to score some points. We'll see if they can figure out a way to do so.
They want to make sure that they're throwing a weight where they keep their shooter in play. They want to overthrow these. Long curl, 78%, pretty consistent for the tournament. 76 for the tournament and 78 today.
It's tough to keep up with the best teams in the world with that number, though. You know,
You
you'd like to
really
see
need
those-
to up them by at least 10%.
Yeah, mid to high 80s
Yeah.
would be better, obviously. Higher the better, clearly.
Clearly.
That's coaching 101. Just curl 90, you'll be fine.
So Team China didn't get the roll there that they were looking for, so opportunity here for Team RCF to, I think this is Dmitry.
Отличный вес.
Внимание.
Вес супер.
Хорошо. Я чуть повыше. Чуть шире. Сильнее, да?
Nice quiet weight.
Хорошо.
Not going to roll buried, but controls the front.
Неплохой вес. По приходу борт плюс.
行吗？
行。
你喜欢哪个劲儿？
不变就行。
You and I were talking in the break a little bit, and you know, when I was coaching
Go.
this team, I always found they reacted maybe a rock too late to dealing with opportunities presented to them, either to get out of trouble or to find a way to score multiple points. And you know, my first instinct as a skip would be to deal with that stone at the top of the rings in this situation.
That, yeah.
Nice if he makes the roll here, but RCF, you know, that stone at the top, 8 foot, is going to be a challenge. Great roll, though.
Perfect
and
roll.
got behind that corner guard. Double corner guard situation. And really going to force RCF to make some nice shots here.
And I agree with you there, Mike. It's, you have to look at what we call your danger zone, or your danger rock, which is the danger one.
Klimov struggling in this one so far, 53%, but as I said, hasn't hurt him so far.
Ooh, just missed their yellow
And,
stone in the rings.
Didn't make the double, but he did open up shot stone. So not a bad result. And you'll see Zhou now dealing with that stone at the top of the rings.
So we go back just a rock or two here, Mike. So I know China was sitting one behind 2 guards, but it was also getting kind of middle rocks, middle of the end. Team RCF could have potentially thrown a draw and maybe just kept their foot on the gas pedal.
Could have changed gears there, or yeah, as you say, try to apply pressure, but I think probably the scoreboard dictated the peel call, but you're right, I didn't mind. I wouldn't have minded seeing a draw if I was the RCF coach. A couple of options here. You can play hit that one on the left. Again, that's the trouble stone to me. Young skips that. Anything in front of the forefoot is, those are the problem rocks. If you can just maintain control of that area, you can always use them later. And if you nose hit this, it's a biter, and China would be hard pressed to make the yellow one go away and roll into the rings.
Внимание! Нет, 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 Дима!
Definitely like this call better.
Пошел, Дима.
And it's an easier shot.
Definitely.
Easier than just trying to squeak by a guard.
漏多少？
It's a nice shot.
这个。
Team China indicating that they are shot, but again, leaving that yellow stone at the top of the 12 is
这球得必须打甩。
doesn't look like the right thing to do.
Right. They see it. They see the danger.
到你再选的，可以打一个先。啊，可以打一个。
Only skip rocks to come though for Team RCF. If they
上把力量。
行。
try to go around, they could. This is a shot to secure a way of scoring 2. I would say it's hard to score 3 by playing this, but I like this better. And again, it's an easier shot.
That's nice when you get to play those higher percentage shots.
This needs to curl.
Gotta stay in the rings.
Unforced error. You saw the stats there, 83%, and outplaying his opposition badly, but maybe the timing of the misses have not been good. We will update Sheet B again in Norway with the hammer. Looking at one yellow stone touching the button. Tricky little shot here for multiple points for Wallstad.
Doesn't look like you can see very much of that, Mike. Maybe half. Oh, not even. A third? It's a tough shot.
Trying to make it curl now. Great touch there.
What a great shot. Wow.
Wallstad making it look pretty easy so far this week. 2-0 and beautiful shot for 2 in full control, 7-2 after 6.
That was a tough shot. So RCF makes the hit and stick on the stone out in the 12-foot, and Team China ignoring it and gonna try and get one buried here behind that center guard, and I think this is a good call.
They're down 3, they need to score.
Agree.
Blank end does not help them.
No.
Time is working against them. They had done the work there, and again missed the easy one. Hitting and rolling out. It just kills the momentum. So Shang at 78% this game, 67 for the week lead coming in. Degree of difficulty for some of the shots he's been facing earlier in earlier games certainly would have contributed to those numbers. Lukov wasting no time. He's going to play the run back. In the modern game, I'm calling it, the last 5 or 6 years, you have to have this run back in your repertoire to be successful against the top teams in the world.
You see a lot of the young players coming up have this definitely in their back pocket. And Sergey's made a ton of these. Having another good game today.
That is floating away from the center line. See that rock moving back and will not make contact with the stone in the rings. So we saw Team China give away a pretty easy 2 to RCF in the third end, and returning the favor here in end number 6. Saw the official communicating with the Team RCF that the rock had rolled over and hit the sideboards, but they don't want to make any sudden movements here.
No, they're not going to move while he's trying to throw.
Shouldn't come into play.
Should not.
Final rock here, and number 6. We'll see.
I'll let you pick the time.
Oh gosh, 14-7.
Okay, I'll go 14-8 again.
稍微带着点劲儿。
I know that's what
不用擦，稍微
they're
带着
looking
点
for. They'd like it to be that speed.
别擦着。
啊，这儿得要他这个得点他。
We're both wrong, but it should
I
still be
think it's
fine.
still going to be just perfect. Great shot.
I blame the person in the truck on the trigger.
我看你要是放
Nice 2
出来
points though
放
there
半天
from
你要
Team
一直
China.
擦就减速。
That's what they needed to do. Get within 1. See if they can hold Team RCF to a single or maybe even steal when we head into end number 7.
Как обычно. Окей, так, что?
我先站一个，看他第一球选咋样。我水呢？
7th end underway, and an important score of 2 with last rock for Team China in the 6th end.
3区偏大一点得等。
Definitely want to force RCF into scoring 1 here in 7.
进不了，进不了。
进不去能站上。
And kind of get into that 2 hammers to 1 situation for the last 3 ends of the game. Only 2 down.
我不知道这是谁呢。
And conversely, I think you'll see RCF indicated by coming to the ring, they're going to try to figure out a way to blank this end and get the hammer going into 8.
Absolutely. Just going to take the play away from the center line. Not even going to attempt to go around that very, very tight center guard. And when they get the opportunity, they'll probably step right up there and peel.
Зайти. 10 за.
Нет, 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 нет.
Меня хорошо.
If you want your opposition to score, if you're Team China, what do you like on their next play? Throw the double center?
That's what I'm thinking.
Как можно ниже теперь. Сип, 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 сип.
Молодец.
Хорошо.
They agree with you.
Perfect.
差点。下路 K，
差点。1啊。
1去半都行。差点。下线。
下线至于。
过来。下线中线。
力量差不
1区啊。
没问题。
二，大这中线。
练够。差
二这个。
Got to get over the hog
Oh,
line.
wow.
再来。
二。
OK。
Never a doubt.
It's over. That's all that matters.
Вышел в его вкус, да.
Wow.
Такие фишки.
That is a decent amount of separation between those 2 guards.
Be a hard double. So Team RCF now looking to come around those 2 centers, try and get a rock in decent position.
Смотрите.
Just absolutely have to keep this short of the T line.
Сколько вес?
Итак,
По-моему,
внимание.
это зайти, нет?
You can see how that gets around the guard by almost 2 feet.
Well, and my Russian isn't much better than my Chinese, but I do understand "niet." So they were saying no,
No.
because it's going too far, and that is much too deep.
And that is
And-
almost the worst place you could have put it.
踢线。
OK。
这个点。
Yeah, that's not where you wanted that rock to land. So a little bit of an opportunity here for now for Team China to freeze right on the face of that yellow RCF stone.
头力量
又给了点儿，
头等等线路，
等等线，
别着急，
哦，
下线带，下线，下线带
够，吧？哎，站留前面。哦，no，
下线，
Trying to make a curl now.
不磕头，不磕。
Wait, it looks perfect.
哦，好点。
What a shot.
no，
Watch the path of this rock.
下线，下来了
不。磕头，不磕。
Watch Shu trying to make a curl, then he goes back to the other side trying to keep it straight.
好点。
It's perfect.
RCF not wasting any time here. Need to get rid of those center guards. Going to start at the top. Try and work their way back. I don't think there's any opportunity for a double here with the separation between those two.
We talk about it quite often. You know, if you get your two lead stones positioned properly, regardless of what the situation is, you certainly make things difficult on your opposition. And China was able to do that this end. And you saw one little mistake from the lead. And conversely, when rock goes into the wrong place, you're always just fighting to climb out of trouble the entire end. So it's going to be a lot of work for RCF to get out of trouble here with 3 perfect shots from China to start and one little mistake.
下线得贴中线啊。
下线啊，
Yeah, I fully agree.
现在是1、2之间，2区
Just
了，
want a piece of the center.
有下线吗？
稍微下
I
点贴
want
中
it
线
to。over curl.
可以下，再下一点，
下点，下点。
Very nice.
二 ，OK。
Nice.
可以，我给你收点啊。嘉峰，我给你摆一边。
Again, you see the closer that rock gets to the other red center guard, Team RCF will eventually take on the double, and I think that's maybe what he's doing on this one. Still quite a bit of separation, but I think the double could be there.
Close.
Nice shot. That'll help them a little.
And even with the double, they're still in a bit of trouble.
They still are,
It's
yep.
better than it was, but
There's no outturn path there
少一
now,
点呢，哎，
at least draw path. That rock likely is in the way. But pretty straightforward for Team China.
let's check in on sheet D. Nicholas Adine against Joel Returnaz. Team Italy.
稍微猛点啊。
Tough shot here against 3.
哦，脚那块儿，对，
Italy down 1.
感觉带要进营。
不要。
Not sure if he can nose it there. It looks like he maybe can nose it for the shot rock. Yep,
Just shot, yes.
just nicely done.
Turns out that was an easy shot. Wasn't
yeah.
a tough shot.
Piece of cake. It was only against 3.
Returnaz 2-0. Early play so far and looking sharp against Adine. That guard over curl just a little bit, so I think this is a prudent play here for Lukov coming into the rings, and can't get rid of that red stone, but certainly would like to unlock that perfect freeze and put a little pressure on China.
Внимание!
Легко, легко.
Внимание! Нет, сам.
Легко, легко.
Klimov been struggling a little bit in this game. Needs to get by the guard.
Yeah, this one looks close. As you say, just unlock that back yellow.
Stays frozen.
It's a terrific shot.
Leaves a few yellows hanging around, certainly adding to the pressure.
I think Team China just stepping back there, having a look. That was a nice shot.
Дальше, Серега, давай. Супер.
That is a very lonely red in there.
I think Team China's elected to freeze to the rock just thrown by Team RCF.
你要张科，科不行，科不行。
Try and get another red stone. As you say, it's pretty lonely in there right now,
走
so
走不行。
maybe he needs a friend.
张点，清科。
The challenge, of course, is if the angles end up
就是放啊。
being poor,
哦，下去。
Wow.
then might be a big weight shot to lie the bundle.
That just got by the corner guard. And look where it finished.
Pretty good shot, but you know, Team RCF can run this red back as hard as they want, and all the
reds.
yellows will be there, and all the reds will be gone. Yeah.
Sip! Sip! И до конца, ребят.
Trying to hold it straight.
Свору.
Over curled.
Осталось мягче сделал.
Just not 100% sure what the right answer is here for Team China. I think you have to try to guard a good chunk of that top red. They're going to call a timeout and ask Soren Gran to come out and help them out. They'll bring their translator as well. I know him as Henry, so I'll go with Henry. Henry, the translator. He speaks perfect English, and he'll be able to help Soren communicate to the team.
Yeah, I must say guard. Yeah. He's afraid of to have the angle. Yeah, but if he hit there and it's a red, the red go down here too. And that red probably gonna hit back there. And the drag effect, we take the red down there. Yeah. So I would say near the same guard as you played. Maybe, yeah, Thomas, a little bit more that way. Yeah. Yes, no, here, yes, right there.
OK。
Yeah.
接你中线。
OK， yes。
Yeah.
但是这个区域哪块最好？这儿吗？
哪儿区别？他肯定是找。他肯定是找。
Soren Gran's a very experienced coach. Worked with Team Great Britain when they won their silver medal back in 2014. He's worked with numerous countries over the years, so you know, a good resource for this Chinese team. You heard him call the lead Thomas. all of the Chinese athletes tend to take on North American names. Thomas is the lead. Jerry is the second. Derek at third. So
Derek's at third.
but only the coach usually refers to them that way. It's quite. In fact, you know, when I was coaching the teams, a couple of the players on the women's team, they asked me for a name for them. I said, well, I hadn't named anyone since I named my own children, right? So that's a good story.
So Team China elected to throw the guard here, which I believe is the right shot. Just need a piece of the center. They want to protect the top red one.
They want to guard a good chunk of it.
Good chunk of it.
So just the rock just touching the center line as it comes in would be about right. This is starting to curl a lot.
Too much. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. So in this case, they're going to hit the frozen red stone. Try to get that back red out of there. Stay lying shot stone. The yellow, our middle yellow, will not go anywhere, obviously. And the key for RCF here is to not roll their shooter into a place where there's going to be a double available to that yellow.
Небольшой перевальчик, туда если получится, весь втяжек. 8 был?
And to Soren's point, they probably would have liked to have guarded the other side of this red stone. So leaving the left side open probably would have been a little better. But big shot here for Glukov.
They haven't laid a broom to it. It's has a lot of curling to do. Looks pretty good. As you say, Mike, important to move that yellow stone far enough so there's no double. I'm not sure it's fully buried or not. Looks pretty good.
Team Korea has had enough. Conceding to Team Norway 9-2 is the final. After 7 ends of play, there's another steal of 2 for Norway in the 7th. So great start for the Norwegians, going to 3-0. The question is, can you see enough of that yellow in order to make the double?
On the overhead, I wouldn't think that you can, but they're going to play it. So I'm guessing you can see.
You need about half. Thin half, maybe.
Thin half. Yeah, thin half to a third, it looks like. Maybe, yeah.
Not a ton of risk here. I don't know what else they could play to not leave a shot for 2 here. Yeah, there's enough. You can see
there's
enough.
Lots.
But, you know, you could maybe guard the in-turn draw for 2, but they'd have something off this one on the right-hand side as we're looking at it. So when your opponents have 2 opportunities to score 2, you may as well try something. And the upside is if you do make the double perfectly, you're going to lie 2 buried.
Yeah, I really don't think there's any harm to trying this, as you say, Mike.
Team China needs a big shot to get back into this game. They've kind of been letting RCF off the hook a few times this game already. See if Zhou can make a nice double.
Got the same pre-shot routine every single shot. I love seeing that. He's close. I think he hit it
too thick.
Too thick.
It's hard to do. And unfortunately rolled to a spot where there might be a nose hit for 2. Very close to being a great shot.
How do you hit that too thick?
It's actually glanced off their own red.
Did. Yeah, and just needed to sweep it all the way. We talked about hitting the thin half, and they hit the thick half, it looked like. And I think you're right, Mike. Is there the
definitely
nose hit for 2?
Yeah.
That's a big swing.
It's at probably an inch thinner, and it's a tough shot to score against 3. Instead, they've got an open shot for 2. Glukov's final rock here in 7. Looks good. Trying to make it curl a little, but did roll to the outside. 1 for sure. And this is where I struggle on these ones, Melissa.
I'm going to say it's yellow.
I'll abstain from voting. When you look under the stone, see how much white paint you can see under the yellow? It looks like you can see a little less white paint under the red.
Yeah, from that angle it looked red, but from this angle, to me, it looks... Well, darn it, it's close. Good thing we have the ability to measure.
Trying to make a curl here late.
Yeah, it really spun off. It just had a little action on it and just spun maybe a little too far. From there, I agree, Mike, it looks red.
I say we're looking at the amount of white paint seen under the stone. And I said I think I can see a millimeter more under the yellow, but it might be the camera angle as well. But,
now they do have to put their masks on if they're coming to observe the measurement.
The Canada curling stone measuring device measures to the 1/10 of a millimeter. Almost to the bottom dial. We'll see if this passes the...
Ooh.
That is extremely close.
Very close. Is it yellow? Wow.
I would, if I was Team China, I would have had another look.
I would have had another look as well.
That was within 1 point on that dial.
Wow, that surprises me that they didn't.
But 2 it is for Team RCF. They'll take an 8-5 lead after 7 ends of play. Team China will have the hammer in 8.
Стерло здесь, вообще камень не ездит.
8th end underway here at the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship, coming to you live from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Beautiful Wind Sport Arena, great facility. Been host to the Curling Bubble, hosted by Curling Canada for 3 big events, 3 Canadian championships, and now we've got a couple of World Championships coming in and a couple of Grand Slam events. So thanks to Curling Canada and World Curling Federation staff for making this happen.
So that's a big 2 on the board for Team RCF in that previous end and N7. Team China had an opportunity for a draw, or sorry, for a double on their last stone and just missed it. It just hit their own stone, so it gave Team RCF an opportunity for the hit and stick for 2. They did go to a measure, and it was such a close measure. But most importantly, RCF puts 2 on the board. And just having a look at those percentages, 88, 89, no argument there. Both leads playing very, very well.
Yeah, even you and I talking at the break, if we were the officials going, that was within 1 point on the dial. That was a very close close measurement, but both teams deferred to them. And 3-point hill to climb here for Team China. Let's go over here to sheet C. United States throwing the Yellowstones down 1 to Germany. As they had John Schuster's last rock in 7. Just a chance for a big end here. Germany hanging tough against the Olympic gold medalists.
I believe this is a shot for 3. No mistake by the Olympic champion.
Definitely a sense of urgency in John Schuster's voice on that one. You know, it's funny when you play these events, Melissa, you know, when you look at the schedule, there's teams that you think, okay, if we win a couple of tough games, played Nicholas Edin earlier, for example, but I know John would have thought leading into the game 3 for them, this is a game they need to win against Team Germany. So down one late in the game, there's certainly some added pressure.
For sure. So we're on second stones here in the 8th end. Team China versus Team RCF. And right now, Team RCF is sitting 1, top 4. And they do not have hammer here in 8. China definitely needs to get a deuce here if they can. They're 2 hammers to 1 right now. The last 3 ends available.
Прям на уровень.
Certainly no lack of opportunity in this game for Team China. It's just been, you know, really wrong side of the inch, particularly on their skip stones from this game, you know, maybe being 3 points ahead instead of being 3 points down.
Yeah, that's a good point. They played really well. The skips played very well.
And Glukov's
Just-
made everything as
And
well.
he's made everything. That's right.
反正你就直接站。
我直接奔张科一点啊。
OK。
You know, obviously everyone here is trying to win that World Championship, but there's so much at stake for all of these teams. Top 6 in this event guaranteed a spot in the Olympics. As we check in on Sheet D, Nicholas Adine, the reigning silver medalist from Pyeongchang and 2-time defending world champion.
14.65 på deras där nere.
That yellow stone on the left, shot rock. Hard to tell from this shot, but it's certainly a draw to the forefoot.
65 på deras. Lite trögare här ute.
Good weight.
Dra kammaren i alla fall.
And 2 it is.
Med takear, det blir svårare ju äldre man blir.
Nick's got a good feel for draw weight. Let that one go and just turned around
Yeah,
and went
turned
back
around
and
and went and had a drink.
talked to the coach.
Yep. There you go. That's the way to do it.
And great freeze by Team China. Wang Zhu making a very nice shot and trying to set up a chance to score a multiple end here.
I'm not sure if Team RCF is playing the tap. I think looking at the weight. Oh, actually, I'm not sure what they just tried to move things around, I guess. Unlock that yellow stone off that freeze. I'm not sure.
这球打完也
Всю дорогу.
Battle of the seconds. Mironov having a 5-point advantage over his
好吧？可以。
Chinese opposition.
9秒。9秒。9秒逆时。
So looking for.
掉下来呗，定
I
天
was just
往
going
那
to say,
边打
you
呗。
know, the obvious shot is the triple. We have a great chance to lie too, but don't forget they're 3 down. Lobbing another one into the pile there might be a good play.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, Mike. It's obviously tempting to play the shot, but you got to look at the scoreboard and you have to figure out what you need to. Most importantly, you've got to keep your red shot shooter in play here.
Pretty good. Tough double. Could play the angle double, angle raise on the yellows. Pretty easy for players at this level. The thin double is very difficult.
Если мы попадем даже в первый в этот, мы все равно выбьем. Нет, не саутом.
Hard to hit that top one
there.
thin enough to make the
Уходящий, если
double.
он наш уйдет, ничего страшного. Я к тому, что здесь надо достаточно тонко попасть просто.
Yeah, you'd have to hit it
Вот так вот, я
super
думаю,
thin. I
и
think that's what he's
если мы
playing.
пойдем с гардом,
Just
то мы, в
paper it.
принципе, все равно попадем. Окей?
Said you kind of knew this was coming, even if China made that double. They made it pretty well, but you know, RCF's going to be throwing some weight. 3 up, playing 8. And if this is made, even if the shooter likely will go flying out of the rings, if this double is made, you know, it's going to be tough to get 2 here for China.
Got to almost just miss that top one. He's really close. What a shot. Couldn't have made it any better, really. Well, maybe a little thinner might have kept a shooter in play. Maybe. I may have been asking a lot.
3 ahead though, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You're right.
The job was done.
Yeah. It was a good shot, really a shot. Some guards out there right now, so still an opportunity here for Team China. Get some rocks in good positions.
下路 OK， 下路 OK。
Choosing to go around their own corner guard.
可以啊，可以。
Which I understand being that it's their own guard, but also it is quite high, Mike. So you could elect to go behind the tighter, either tighter corner or the tighter Yellowstone, but it's a great shot. Still hard to get at.
I think that's perfectly buried.
I
Nice
think
shot.
you're right.
С перевалом.
200.
Лайн.
Да, если мы его оттолкнем хотя бы сюда, он уже станет хуже, чем наш.
Хорошо.
So just trying to move this out of the 8-foot. Try to lie 2.
Я думаю, можно.
Not easy. Klimov asking, what, T-line weight? Back 8-foot weight?
Еще и накинуть.
Внимание.
Yeah, just a little more than T. And you know, this, you see how much ice he took there, and it's just a matter of patience on shots like this because you feel like you've taken a lot of ice, but it does wait for it to curl. And now we're sweeping for curl just to try and move that one a couple of inches. Ooh,
They did move it a couple of inches, but did not get shots.
enough. You're right.
Просто хорош.
Well, they're not lying 2.
Мне кажется, можно было еще слабее.
喜欢哪个？可以，这个也是可以。
In the battle of seconds, it's been the timing of the misses. You see Tian out curling his opposition by 19%, but I would say there's been a couple of key misses and key makes that have kind of evened out those numbers, including the double just made by Klimov on his first. And we've seen a couple of rollouts on easy shots.
Do you like this call, Mike?
Not this weight. I don't mind the tap-tap, but they're trying to roll it buried around the center guard, so
Yeah,
great
it's
execution.
great execution. You're right. Exactly what they called. I just was wondering if they could have left that for a little later down the line and maybe tried to draw another one in good position.
Only 2 to come each team, so don't mind it, but
'Cause
you
it
know,
was-
if you play the freeze, you certainly keep play a little bit more open, and certainly you can get out of trouble a bit more. That roll will look good, but it's a freeze opportunity as we tune into Totzek, the German skip, down 2 here in the 8th end, and he's forced to draw against the couple.
John Schuster on his last made a great double on the 2 German stones. They were sitting 2. And now this is a draw for 1.
This needs to stop.
And it's not going to stop.
Seal of 1 is Schuster starting to grab control over there on sheet C. 3 up now as they head into end number 9.
And that looks like a pretty, look how much that curled. Great weight.
Ну, по крайней мере, фиг достанешь.
She over curled.
It did. There's gosh, you have to look at the scoreboard here if you're Team China. I'm so tempted to play the out turn, tap, nudge your own red back. You look on the right-hand side. You could throw back 12-foot weight, get your red out of the way, and stay frozen. Might bring a big end into play. They're accepting the fact that they're probably only going to get 2 here by playing this in turn. 3 down, 3 ends to play. I understand. But you don't get many opportunities for big ends. As though kicks out here. Needs a good one.
线路稍微靠外一点，
非常小点啊。
先别着急擦支雨，线路有点到，
等线，下线。
先等一等线，别着急，
踢线
可以等。现在线路靠外，
啊，可以放一放。
踢线8区
得等啊。
不行，线路大，
还行啊，现在是6区踢
线
线。
别碰了，别碰了。我放到底。
This is looking pretty good.
Yeah, the line's great. I think I'd try to get it maybe a touch buried if they could, but pretty good shot.
Yeah, it's a nice shot. There's the numbers.
And again, it's all been about the timing of the misses for these 2 players. I mean, they have Zhou ahead of Glukov in this game, but the important ones, Glukov's made them all, and really Zhou hasn't made any of his. So this is it's been the difference in the game so far. So the only error that could be costly here for Team RCF is to miss this heavy. You ever tick that red and roll into the open, you might leave a double for
Да, небольшой контакт.
Нет, мы
more than
на
2.
нем.
Да, на нем.
Freeze is the call.
Чего?
Yeah, the tolerance on this. Yeah, sorry, you were just going to say that.
Yeah.
The tolerance on this is definitely on the lighter side.
If they don't throw, 2's the most.
You're right. Brushers need to be completely aware of that.
Швец, без контакт.
Антон, легко всегда.
Точно контакт. Контакт.
Много, много,
Внимание.
много.
Нет, 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 нет.
Вес можно было? Нет, отличный вес.
Вес нельзя, вес вообще нельзя.
Line is really good.
Женя, сип, сип.
You don't want to bounce of any sort.
Нормально.
Well, draw for 2.
Yeah, I think that's
you,
pretty good.
Play some sort of run back for the line. The angles are pretty good for the yellow, red, yellow, but I don't know how you
这么的，完这球盯着
how you can get there.
打不定。
I think you got to try to draw for 2.
头他妈不
不太
太够
够，
直接找。
先漏到这儿，
啊，
不行，这粒必须得是另咋地得8秒能出去。
这样呢，这样也是2分。
Can hit an inch of it and go across the top and get 3. That's a challenge.
那头这块不太够啊。
Risk versus reward here.
The draw for 2 is no bargain. That,
No, it is
that red
not.
guard on the left is in the way.
It's tough.
打外角啊。
就是大力
I wonder if the hit is actually
打这儿啊。
might even be easier just based on
大力看这样
how hard it is to get the draw. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty tight to make that draw.
I think if you hit an inch or 2 on the center line side, go across up, send your red straight
最起
back,
码的
你不是，那你
you
就
might
打
be able to
打这儿
squeeze
不
it for
行吗
3.
你打薄一点儿，
打这
这么样式儿走吧。
关键打薄点，黄球容易盯着。
It's really thin though, really thin.
你打不
超薄
这儿，对，你打要是基本落到这面
Of
儿。
course, they've already used their timeout.
Right.
打外角头这么的，
打完也是2分。
嗯，你我反正我在那边看落到这儿。
现在不太够头，主要是。
三分拿的，
这3分拿怎么拿？
直接找那个找定偏一点，直接。
I'm tempted to throw it. No, it's
Well, Mike, I
3
actually,
down.
I really don't know if the draw is there. I don't know if there's another option.
外角打完也是2分啊。
有可能
I just think that that guard's
不
in
是
the
打外
way
角吗？1/3
to
吗
throw the in
那
turn
你
draw.
要是打外角那是2分，你要是打定偏一点儿那种，
打定肯定是没有。
I think I'd be tempted to throw it as well.
啊，
Mainly because of the scoreboard. You know, 3 down.
够多吗？
不
And
多
the，chance of making that
哦，
shot
薄
for
一
2
个
are
吧。行不行？我打外
pretty
角
slim.
1/3。那样薄能不能
I
对
think third wants to play it.
啊？
找外角把那个找后面
Jian
那
wants
个，
to
就找
give
这
it
找
a
后边
go.
的，对，
磕甩稍
1/3
滑一点呢
You，just have to be
啊
sure you miss it
你就
on the
持
thin
续力
side.
量，
Make sure you get your 1.
蹭一点这个完过来，
奔2分啊。
你基本上蹭一点，你就力量8区蹭一点就能滑下来。
我奔头吧，
OK，
头蹭一点。
OK，你就奔8、9区力量。
OK。
It looks like they're going to throw some sort of backline weight here and try to chip off the yellow and roll in for 2.
还是上
This
把
is a high degree of difficulty.
Very high degree of difficulty.
Last rock on its way here in end number 8. As China tries to tighten it up. Down 3.
8区极限，行，6、7。
极限啊
Very tough shot here for 2.
，please，
They just want to nudge that yellow stone
我偏少
enough so that they have a bit of a roll.
好追，
Got to have the weight to do it though.
这样非常好职业。
Just an ounce light. And it'll only be 1 for Team China. So they'll have to go into steal mode here and try to score some points without the hammer. As we head into the 9th end, Team RCF leading 8-6.
这边漏的应该不太大吧？有一半多一点。
Да,
Девятым сделаем просто. Так же на край.
я думаю, сейчас. Да, можно на край. Но
Второй
они будут сдваивать миллиард.
也不太够。有点憋，我只能让蹭一点，这样。3。
Ninth end underway.
3区啊。
下楼 K。
Team China needing to score some points without last rock.
没问题啊。
They want to
下线对。
win this game.
I think we can expect double centers by Team China. It was so close on that last shot in the 8th end.
And I think if you're Glukov, you'll do anything you can to not give up a steal there. So they're going to try the tick shot here in the 9th end, see if they can just open things up. Ideally, they'd love to blank or score more than one, but definitely do not want to give up a steal, give up any momentum they've built.
So we were talking earlier on a different broadcast, Mike, about the difference about how you play the tick shot, whether you play into it or whether you cross it. And Team RCF has elected to play into it. And what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
Play the one you practice is my thought.
I
think both are okay. I think, again, I always defer to the top teams. You don't see many of them playing across the top anymore. It's mostly into it. And a lot of it has to do with the ability to hold the rock straight versus making it curl. It seems easier to hold it straight with the sweeping techniques people are using these days than it is to make the rock curl if you need to. So, but you know, we can go all the way back into the 90s, and you know, Jeff Stoughton's team, Steve Gould was kind of the first we used to see playing that tick shot. They always played it across the top. So for a couple of years, that was the trend. You know,
right,
so.
And I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, Team Canada played it across the top today, but it was a high guard though. So that could be the difference too, right?
Yes.
Depending where you want your shooter to go. And
again, which one do you practice?
Right.
So the key part of that equation is the practice.
The practice part. And obviously, Team RCF has practiced it this way.
Very close to being good there. Nice part is both shooters have rolled into the rings, so they're line two, and they've created an angle for a double on the next one. So China's forced to come around, and they need to cross their fingers and hope for a half a miss from Team RCF in order to create an opportunity to steal here.
4-5 4区
2-3
啊
3
下线很大，往里擦也没事，往里擦也没事，一直下到底，后区都行，不能给他漏。
All three brooms on this now, trying to drag it as far as they can and try and get it to curl. Almost fully buried. Team RCF has an opportunity here now to peel the guards.
You saw him kind of humming and hawing a little bit. That stone's in a great position for Team China, and it is open. So if he does peel, you know, they're going to put a better guard back. I think that was the thinking, but there's not a bad call. Either one or the other.
Чуть повыше вес. Внимание, легко.
This looks good. Very well thrown rock here by Myonov.
Супер. Ему когда-нибудь придется с этим играть, а не вот с этим.
And we will update Sheet D, Nicholas Adine, trying to get a little foothold here against Team Italy, and Joel Roshenaz looking like he's got a draw for a couple here.
He
Melissa?
does, actually. Nicholas's last stone, it's the one in the back far right where it was a little bit heavy. And so this is an open draw for two. And looks like no mistake made by Team Italy.
2 red.
Indeed, 2 red. And back in our feature match, China tried to make a hit and roll frozen. Good news is they rolled frozen. Bad news is it's not shot stone, and it's not going to help them steal. But they're going to have to try to use that very tight guard to create an opportunity.
稍微放远点。
Tian Jiafeng looking for the outturn draw. I'd like to get this right near the tee line if I was Team China. Try to get it as close to the 4 foot as possible.
站位不差了，不太近了。
进赢了，肯定进了，5区没问题。
再来一点，hard。
Sweepers working very hard.
没问题，6。
See that technique where they're going straight down the line? That's kind of the consensus of trying to carry the rock as far as possible, as opposed to making it curl one way or the other. It didn't get shot zone, but it stopped in a pretty good spot. I think RCF's going to have to deal with that rock.
Yeah, looking at the scoreboard, RCF with hammer up 2 and 9. They just want to make some reds go away.
Не, отстойный угол.
Looking at if they make the double, where will that back red go? The one that was just thrown.
Ну, в принципе, что, не получится. У тебя
From our angle, it does look like it goes into the pile, but it's hard to see from here.
We'll let you know in about 7 seconds.
Not a word.
Shoot. International language there.
2分起，打完2分起。
That wasn't the plan.
No. And you'll watch where that first stone ends up. Just a little bit closer to the center line, a little bit tighter scoring area if China can get around buried. Oh, are they hitting here, Melissa?
I think
This is the let's try to lie 3 shot, but again, looking at this level, the likelihood of you scoring with any of those rocks over there on the right-hand side is slim to none.
I fully agree. I fully agree. They need to be throwing the come around their own stone to boot. Like this is not going to help them.
Okay, line 4. That's the good news. Bad news is still not much of a chance of a steal. They can just paper that top red. They could stay frozen. So again, some heat. We'll see how many of these reds end up moving.
As you say, just needs to hit that one thin. That's a great shot.
And frozen.
And frozen. He needed that.
So you see now, Zoe is playing the come around, but this is virtually the same situation as it just was. So that just kind of wasted a shot more than anything. Watch where the yellow ends up. Perfectly frozen. What a great shot.
Oh, that is such a good shot.
Come around this time for Team China is the call. You can get a pretty good chunk of the 4 foot and be buried if this is made properly.
偏小一点，现在是6区。
6区就行。
线路非常好，正常草。
线路非常好。
来点草。
现在6。
线路可以下。
Team China needs to put some pressure here on Team RCF to for any hope of a chance of a steal. Needs to be close to that 4 foot.
Very nice.
Great brushing. Good finish.
That was really well managed.
I think if I was maybe Team RCF, I would just look at just peeling this out. I wouldn't worry too much about a softer shot with my saving my shooter. I'm not sure, Mike. What do you think?
Well, if you hit it, you definitely want to get it out of the 8-foot. So throw enough weight to move it for sure.
Четверть, наверное, треть максимум.
1/3. Если что, от верхнего тоже ролл неплохо получится.
So after
Надо обязательно
being down
контакт
3
играть.
here in the 9th end, it looks like
Ты его напиши таким, чтобы он обязательно
Totzek has a shot for
у тебя вот тут.
2.
Только это где-то
Hanging
в
tough.
пятой зоне, потому что надо, чтобы он из 8 точно был.
Against John Schuster.
Да. Да, есть.
Trying to make it curl. And does so. Very nice. So Germany needs a steal in the 10th. 6-5. US with the hammer. Going home.
So Glukov is elected to throw that nice soft hack weight. Try and save his shooter. He's made a ton of these this game.
再来一个。
And that is a pistol.
Вон, если вначале
What a
отличный
shot.
вес говорят, значит тот, который нужен.
Now, to your point, though, you know, the key there was trying to make sure you got rid of that red Team China stone, and he made it a little tougher on himself. Scoring 2 here, scoring 1 here, scoring 3 here
Exactly.
isn't a big change, but
Exactly. Just
China,
keep
sorry, looking to make this stone a little better, try to get it a little bit more buried.
that just speaks to how great this ice is. You make a perfect shot behind, fully buried behind a guard, and you can still throw a hack weight and actually remove it from play. So Brusher's not touching this one yet. This one looks like it has some extra legs on it. It's got a curl.
Hard, hard, go, 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 hard, 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 go, 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 hard.
Good eye on the sweepers. They knew they couldn't go much for weight. So it's probably about the same amount buried as the last one was. The problem, of course, it's you only have to move it about a foot to score a big end here for Team RCF.
Чуть выше прошлого.
Внимание.
Легко, Тим.
Similar shot that was just thrown.
You know he's close when you're on and off all the way down. And this looks like a big 3 or 2. 2 on the board.
That'll be plenty, though.
Plenty,
They're
I agree.
4 up through 9 ends of play.
Не надо было рисковать.
And that will be a concession from Team China.
Good luck.
Wonderful start to this competition for Team RCF. 3-0 out of the gates, and easy to see why. They're particularly their skip Glukov just making everything. But it will be a 4-point victory, 10-6. We'll move our attention over to Sheet C with John Schuster and his Olympic champions. One up with last rock here as they play against a tough Team Germany. Young team.
Wenn du noch weiter rausgehst, will glaube ich, beide nehmen, hat gerade gesagt. Selbst wenn uns dann hinten angreift, wir haben da eine Doppel-Center Guard. Okay.
Gleich Size.
Ja, finde ich. Ja.
Thirds first stones. Muskatovic. Young guy, 25 years old only, but the veteran on this team. Former skip at these championships a couple years ago in Lethbridge. Throwing a guard here. This needs to go to get over the hog line.
Niemals weg. Komm, Yoshi, noch ein Stück, noch ein Stück.
Push.
And that is a tragic late miss here. They were
Over the top is
guarding shot stone.
like it going like this, right?
Schuster considering running his yellow back.
You're 3-4, right? Yes.
This call predicated by the 1-point lead. Tie game, they may be tempted to hit that stone on the button. But Chris Plies in the hack. This is a new addition, relatively new addition to the team. Third, Tyler George from Pyeongchang stepped away from the game after that gold medal win and brought in former world junior champion Chris to the mix, and that's a very nice shot. Maybe we would have preferred to get rid of both yellows, have a little thinner, but pretty good result.
Linie ist gut. Ziel an. Topfbeißer. Oh. Topfbeißer. Ben Yoshi.
Freeze is the call here on our game on sheet C. We'll fill in over on sheet D with Nicholas Sedin taking on 2-0 Team Italy.
It goes easier this way.
And excellent end played by Joel Returnas and his team, forcing Edin to score one. So one of these situations,
Should send it.
classic curling dilemma, one down with the hammer. Would you rather be one down with or one up without? But a good end from Returnas to give him a chance in 10. Wonderful freeze here thrown by Germany. Could not have done much better. Couldn't squeeze it out of the house, in fact. So after hogging his guard, Muskatovic came back nicely with a beautiful freeze.
Ja, versuch ruhig, das war vorne 4. Vorne 4.
So one of the goals when you're trying to steal late in a game is trying to steal one. It'd be nice to force your opponents to throw a shot against the loss. Melissa, what?
Ja, da kommen wir danach dann.
They've contemplated going around either corner guard. You know, the yellow one is a Schuster stone. The red one is their own. What do you like? They've called a timeout. They'll bring in veteran coach Uli Kapp to discuss options.
Yeah, it's a hard situation. We'll see what coach has to say here. But I get why they want to go around their own stone. You just don't want, you need to bury it. You don't want to set up a double for sure. The yellow is closer, covering the 4-foot.
Uli Kapp played in multiple world championships, representing Germany along with his brother Andy.
Den hier oder den hier nehmen.
Silver medalist at the Worlds, in
Den
fact.
hier legt man hier hin, dann versucht den da, rollt vielleicht
He'll have some good advice for them.
oder so. Und dann haben wir immer noch den
Ja,
hier.
das Issue ist halt, wenn du hier liegst, der zwingt ihn ja zu gar nichts am Ende.
hat dann mehr als
Jungs?
den Vierfuß offen.
Jungs?
Was meinst du?
Also der Spot, klar, er hat immer was, wo er sagt, den Run hatte. Die Frage, wie tief man den da machen. Wenn man ihn halt so weit geben, dass es halt gar nicht zu tief, sondern die würden auch fast nur 8.
Nur, dass wir
Ohne,
darüber
dass er
geredet
kein
haben,
Ding
auf
hat.
einmal die Center Guard ist keine Option.
Nee.
Ja, da probiert er beide wegzunehmen, dann hast du wahrscheinlich nur
Da
noch
sind wir
einen.
einfach sehr weit auf und hat dann einen offenen Draw. Du musst
Also-
irgendwas riskieren, aber ich würde nicht so tief.
Ja, ideal fände ich es, wenn wir zum Beispiel hier liegen, er den Miss hat und wir liegen in 2.
Genau. Der kann sogar noch ein bisschen weiter vorne oben sein.
Okay,
Der kann
also
sogar
fahren wir
voll
hier
8 sein.
Auf die
Okay.
T-Line würde ich sagen, oder?
Ja, nicht ganz. Ja,
Ja, stimmt. Ich glaube, auf der T-Line. Ja,
Talking about the come around the yellow, try to get as close to the 4-foot as you can. And you heard if they miss the run back, they can go
Tick mehr.
top of the 4-foot and really
Wenn wir
make
Viertel offen
John's
liegen, ist ja
last
okay.
tough.
Yeah, you want to put as much pressure on John as you can. Obviously, if he has to throw against the tie or even the loss, that's about as good as you can do at this point, right? But just based on where the corner guards are or the guards are. So we elected to come around the yellow, tight yellow. This needs to be in the 4-foot, but Mike, it doesn't have to be top half. You can actually bring it back a little. I think line's pretty important here.
And that'll come down to John Schuster's comfort level of drawing the 4-foot. If he's very comfortable drawing the 4-foot, you might see him even peel his own yellow out of the way, so he has a path in there. If he's not that comfortable with the draw, he might try the freeze on his first, give himself a practice draw.
It's very true.
This is not heavy.
No, and they kind of went off it for a bit. I guess maybe they knew it was late right away.
Okay.
That's not ideal.
35.
Ja, scheiß doch auf die Zeit durchwischen drauf. We're never playing against the loss.
Yeah.
Right? And best he can do is here, and then I have the button.
Yeah.
I can also hit this and fire this out of here. But then he's probably just throwing what?
Timeout called. Sean Baton out to join the conversation.
Spin this thing, and what's that?
I think you blast it.
Yeah.
This is the only
up your
thing.
drop
This is
path.
the only shot on the sheet that we can.
Right. That's either that with my shooter or the thing.
This way any good.
Oh, like trying to
Because
go
if you
this way
hit
with
this,
it.
and even
so,
if you hit a little thick, you might
Chip,
pop
chip.
this to here.
Right.
But this one's never getting closer to the
Right.
center line.
Right. As long as I clip that one, I can even push this one in, right? Just like.
Right. It could end
I
up
think
being.
you're right, Matt. I think I do like going that
think
side.
you
That way,
play-
we never bring a rock coming to the center line and play.
Agreed.
So just make sure you have a drop path.
Yep.
It's like quarter to a third to touch that.
Yep. Well, I think a third touches it.
Yeah.
Lots.
I think so too.
You can put the broom.
You know, it's interesting. Sean Baton's worked with his team through the year-long pandemic, and spoke with Phil Drobnik, who's head of the men's program. Said Sean's done a great job with these guys, and you know, John initially said, if we hit the one in the rings, I won't have to throw against the loss, and he's right. But opening up the draw path it's like I said, if you're comfortable with draw weight, just make your last one as easy as possible. That rock in the 12-foot. You know, if you're John Schuster, you know you can easily outdraw that stone. So I like this call. It's a confident call.
Yeah, I like this call too, and it sounds like he hits about a third. He might pop his yellow one into the rings. Like that.
Oh no.
Real good, John.
Back eight's great.
Really good.
Yeah, I agree.
More than half the 4-foot
I
there.
heard John say, oh no, but I don't think there was an oh no.
Yep, stayed shot stone way in the back 8-foot.
Real good, John.
Perfect.
Really good.
So if they said they're gonna hit. So John Schuster will have either turn to the button. We'll see which one he likes. And I like this call from Totzek as well. Lie to. Don't play the freeze where John can just follow you down without risk of losing.
I agree. Yeah, this is a really good call.
Probably would like to roll maybe a rock to the outside. Final stone on the way for the young German skip here in 10. Needs to steal one to tie.
Hard, Josh. Turn up. Okay.
There you go, roll a rock to the outside.
Control.
Control.
Yep.
This is, to me, an indication of comfort. whether you like to draw or whether you like to hit. I always had in my mind, if it stays full 8, I'll hit. If it's if it rolled a little further, I would have played the draws. But at the end of the day, it ultimately comes down to the shooter and what they'd like to play. Both shots are very simple. The only difficult part is the score and the pressure. Easy to say.
Easy to say. But I get this too, right? It's comfort to you. If you don't have to draw against the loss, why would you? Just throw an open hit here. He feels confident doing so.
Solid control. Yep. Stay down.
Just going to say you want to keep a broom down for sure. And that looks like a perfect shot.
Well done, Team Schuster. Bouncing back nicely from their defeat earlier today to get their second win of the championship. 7-5 win over a tough young Team Germany. Only one more game in action out there, Melissa, and it's a heck of a battle going on between Niklas Edin from Sweden, two-time defending champion, taking on Joel Returnaz from Italy.
And Italy's missed their last couple of shots. As you can see, they're Sweden line 3 right now with hammer, I believe. No, they don't have hammer, pardon me.
Yeah, one up without.
And one up without. But in a heap of trouble right now.
Yes, Italy is, yes.
Yeah, so this is Niklas's first shot.
Bra linje. Gärna hålla igång lite för linje. Håll igång lite, Klippa. Håll igång. Nej, bra linje. Bara fart. Bara full fyra här, bike-linan. Var med, Klippa. Var med. Ja, ja, lite grann. Ja! Ja!
The line's good.
Great shot.
The weight is good.
Ja, det är bra. Jag blev lite mitt emellan där på slutet bara.
Joel Returnaz going to call a timeout and mull over his chances here. He's in trouble. His coach, Claudia Pescia, coming out. Longtime coach of Team de Cruz from Switzerland. Joined this team for the last couple of seasons.
Che becca dentro anche questa, ti apri un po' il forefoot.
Mi piace giocare sulla 5 comunque.
Se no, puoi anche giocare. Il punto diretto. Sì, lui gioca lì. Però probabilmente. No, per passare passa. Se non ti viene questo, però perdi partita. È vero che la puoi perdere anche dopo, però. Secondo me il punto qua che tagliano bene c'è ancora, Però. Sì. Vabbè, se sei qua. Se sei a freeze dietro non fa mica tanti nose,
No, se dopo il te segue però. Sì.
Lo so. Però alternative, se no è bocciare lì noi.
Se giochi quella con una veloce, almeno se tocchi poi dentro lì apri.
Ok? Sì?
Hai un'opzione con quella, con freeze non c'hai opzione.
Ok. Piace quello? Ok. Sì.
In.
Sì, ma...
How's your Italian, Melissa?
Oh, super, super great.
No, gioco l'out.
L'out?
Sì, sì.
Okay.
It looks like they're trying to figure out a way to run the red back.
No, 11 no.
Perhaps get one coming into the 4-foot
Tre
area.
quarti, okay.
But trying to definitely find a way to score.
No, l'out.
I know, I was actually looking at the angles there when they were talking, Mike, and if you look at it from the shooter's perspective, you can see that red one could almost actually be run back on the yellow that's on the side 4-foot. It would be risky, but it would be a chance for you to get shot now rather than, yeah. But I don't think they've even looked at that.
Rama! Halt!
I'm not sure they're much farther ahead.
They're hoping to have that curl a bit more, I believe.
Fickan där på en foten. Ja. Dra den topp i en fot här.
Samma is.
Skulle vi klicka I den här så kan det faktiskt vara att vi täcker den.
Ja, jag håller med. Så länge vi
Däremot
inte
så har
kommer
vi
för
bara
långt.
full 4, han behöver dra här så. Ja.
So the two shots that Italy has to
Samma is. Jag tror
win
den
the
här
game
stenen kommer bli bra resultat om jag spelar den likadant.
are to tap the red that was just thrown or to play the draw. So Hedin trying to figure out a way to take them both away. Little tight for time. They're kind of running down the sheet here. They're down to under 30 seconds. But
Yeah, if they can move that one that's sitting in the top 8 an inch or two
to the left.
to the left as we look at it, then he does take everything away from Team Italy.
Lite vidare men mjukare satt.
Lite vidare linje, så linjen är alltid lugn.
Kan glida på mer. Plats, gå rakt än så länge.
Plats. Gärna curla tror jag.
Vänt.
Kommer inte sätta en slidespår lika mycket, Ralle. Behöver curla massor.
Eller stanna lite kort då.
Ja, behöver curla massor.
Lots of room. Don't bring it too deep. It's the call. And
Okej.
good job. I think the only shot Retornas will have is to run the red into that one on the left side.
I sliden, men det var ett mjukare
Just like that. Or they're looking at the double raise. They're under 50 seconds as well, so they're going to have to make a choice soon.
Rolla dentro anche perché se la prendi piena piena è nostro il punto.
Come?
30 secondi.
Siamo vicini. Non credo.
10.
Just starting to hustle, get down into the hack.
There's the time remaining, about 25 seconds.
It's an eternity.
Tons of time.
Red onto the yellow that's just left on the tee line. To tie it up, going extra end. Last rock of the 10th for Retornas.
Whoa. Whoa. Clean. Whoa. Step. Whoa. Step. Whoa. Whoa.
Must be close. What a shot.
Heck of a shot thrown
Great
by
shot.
Team Italy. All that just to go to an extra end here.
That was a terrific shot. Here it is again. You know when you're on and off, you got to be close. What a terrific call as well.
Good indication as to why they're 2-0 so far. Playing the world champions tough. We'll go an extra end. Hedin will have the hammer in 11.
Dopo vabbè che non era sulla linea. Ma io pensavo di giocare così tipo shake per davvero.
Le due alternative era quella o l'altra?
Difatti mi dico, lei un po' c'è posta ma secondo me l'angolo giù lei buona.
Ok.
Vai già per te. La linea è buona.
Non è male, non è male, Non è male.
Abbiamo spazio, abbiamo un po' di spazio.
È larga di linea, Dai, larga linea.
Extra ends required here with Team Italy, Team Sweden. Session 5, final game on the ice. Wonderful shot from Retornas. Force the extra.
And we just had this conversation, Mike, about the tick shot and some of the teams electing to come into it and others crossing it. This is the second team I've seen now doing the throwing the come into it. Try and just move it around. And what a terrific shot. No mistake.
Sundgren is a world-class player, multiple-time world champions, like 7 European championships. Been around the block a few times.
You're just looking at the scoreboard there and behind Nicholas, it's that 3 that stands out right now. That's put us in this position, 6-6, extra end.
Young team here. Giovanella is just 23 years of old. 23 years of age.
What a great start for Italy here at these championships.
Okay.
Throw a very high guard. See if it's a little trickier to make the tick shot.
Riktigt. 2 meter mer. Vänta. Sarg. Ja, rent. Ogge, järnet Ogge. Fortsätt.
Eriksson trying to make a curl.
Whoa.
2 absolute beauties from Sundgren.
2 perfect tick shots.
Just simplifies your life as a skip. All right, we'll just peel a few rocks off and I'll have a shot to win. A lot of debate as to whether or not to try to eliminate that tick shot. As not eliminate it, but certainly add a degree of difficulty to it somehow. Or if you're a lead, if you can position your stones in a certain spot where they would be not allowed to play the tick on the first shot at the end. So
now we're going to have a tick-free zone.
Teams are starting to consider it. I know in one of our Grand Slam events coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to experiment with that. The rock's touching the center line, you won't be able to play the tick shot.
Wow.
So I do some work with sports and on the Grand Slam events, and they've done that before, had the no tick zone, and it really changes the dynamic of, particularly an extra end. You know, when you know you're going to allow 1 center guard, but it's not the lead has to throw a rock that's in a good position, has to touch the center line, so it's not just a question of lobbing a guard out front. But now that the 2 ticks have been made, like I said, life is pretty simple for Team Edin here in the extra.
And if you're Team Italy, all you can do is just keep throwing them up front and hope for some sort of miss by Team Sweden.
Okay.
1, 2, 2.
I know that one, Due.
1, 2.
No.
Make my mom so proud.
Okay.
There you go. I thought with a name like Saligo, you might have a little bit understanding of the language, but
Oh, sure.
well,
I was just there just over a year and a half ago.
Yep.
Seems like an eternity ago, doesn't it?
Took a trip back to the homeland. It was fantastic.
So se vogliamo tipo venire qua. Se costruire qualcosa su questa.
Corner freeze the red, and the idea is that you could later maybe hit and spin a couple of rocks in towards the center.
No, possiamo andare dietro, Andiamo dietro e poi li mettiamo alla center.
Well, Zahner throwing third stones
Vanno le
for
guardie,
return. At one point, he was actually throwing the last rock. They've switched back and forth over the past few seasons. Amos actually threw a fantastic cross-ring double at the Olympic qualifying event just to get into Pyeongchang.
Wow.
So that was, I know, a big thrill for him and his team, qualifying them for their Olympic berth 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago now. The Olympics, 10 months away, if you can believe it.
Oh, isn't that hard to believe? It's coming up quick, especially after the year we've had and no competitions. Are so fortunate to be here, to have the World Championships here in the bubble, as well as the Scotties in the Briar.
Bra. Mycket bra. Tunn hals. Gött när det inga har lampor kan man ligga och flippa lite. Mycket bra.
Good news for Nicholas Sedin as he threw the draw to the button in the 9th end, that out-turn path. So he'll know, he has in mind already what he's going to be throwing. Unless it's an open hit, which he might prefer.
T-line. T-line.
Via un po' più stretta.
T-line 8.
Via comunque buona.
9.
Andrà finita anche questa, eh?
9-10.
Andrà finita anche questa.
8. T-line.
Line's great. Going to get it buried. But it's just a biter.
Lisa, 1 centi, 2 centi. Jag funtar på antingen går man med lite fart så vi kan trycka ut den och hamna skottet, alternativt skava in skottet där. Eller så bara drar vi någonstans här. Det enda jag inte vill råka göra är att gå lite tjockt i garden och vicka in en bättre gard för dem. Nej. Antingen försöker jag sprätta den igen, jag har en 4 centi har den kanske. Eller så... Jag gillar något mjukare i så fall.
The danger of throwing a quiet weight hit here is if you ever rub the guard or hit the guard hard, you'd roll in for a center.
Jag har rätt gott om tiden då. Eller bara dra. Min första tanke var nog bara försöka dra någonting. Det är massor med bo att jobba på. Okej, dra den dit då. Frys där, alternativt runt den. Även om de fryser så har vi hela 8
I think Nicholas was pleading his case. Let's just draw one over here. And
Is he winning?
I think so.
Spela vad du känner för du. Kör klippen.
Nope.
Okay. Så eller?
Not anymore. He was for a moment. Just throw some weight. This is a smart way to hit this. I know it's very difficult, but there's no risk.
Oh.
Fan, bra spelat.
Overcooked it with the sweeping.
Nej, och det jag kände också att det... Jag kände bara alla mjuka och så råkar jag kalla upp att den drar någonting och så vickar jag in och täcker. Ja, full 8 eller något sånt. Här. Ja, fan, nej, jag tänkte bara att...
Ja, fan det var ju tråkigt. Det är nästan bara man gör så jag kommer få dra 7 eller 8 fot eller något.
I said I think Nicholas is fairly comfortable throwing a draw on his last. So, and understanding that, if you're Roturnas, you want to throw your last somewhere to make him think about it a little bit. Maybe just bite the side of the forefoot or put it somewhere close enough where it just makes Nicholas have a little doubt.
Exactly.
Linea ok. 2 colpi di linea se puoi.
Throwing a guard here.
Linea un po' stretta. Linea è buona. Linea è buona.
We'll see if Nicholas takes on the angle raise.
Yeah.
The danger, of course, you could spin the red stone into the forefoot area.
That would definitely be the worst case scenario.
In turn's fine.
Yeah,
he's going
to go the other way. I think that's probably a great call.
Go.
72% for Nick in this game. That's a little low for him, but definitely warming up as the week goes on, I think, is the MO for him.
Team Sweden 1-1 coming into this game.
Una roba qua, se no tipo una roba qui così.
Well, let's go back to the 10th end, and we're here in the extra because it's just a fantastic throw here from Joel. Wonderful.
Just unbelievably perfect. That's the one I thought maybe he could play on his first. So now trying to decide where to put this and force. They have to decide what they want Nicholas to do, draw or hit.
You see the clock ticking down on the scoreboard, 127. I liken this move to freezing the kicker in football, where they're just taking their time. We'll throw this rock with a, you know, even called a timeout here. Claudio Pescia coming out for some advice, but I think it's more just to allow the team to think a bit more.
Sì, cioè qua ci pensa un attimo forse. Velocità T. C'è una roba qua così, no? Vai. Sì, forse sì, fino bottom, fino bottom.
Edge of the button. They're going to just throw it over the edge of the 8. I'll bet a fair amount that Dean will just throw the out-turn draw to win.
Yeah, as you said, he threw that one in the 9th then. Get his bid on the board there. It's hard to pick a spot. I mean, you don't have anywhere to hide. You just have to find a spot where you want to put this stone and have Nicholas throw against 2. Not that you need 2 to win, but.
Okay. Buono. Sempre Rama davanti. Sempre Rama prima.
Well, this Italian team is kind of a dark horse bet for the playoffs here. I like their chances, especially considering their start. Along with Team RCF, we just watched. They're, I said 3-0 out of the gates here. And Nick will throw basically the same shot they threw in the 9th end.
Samma linje som den jag drog där som kom precis bak.
Jag tror ni har kollat.
Eller vad det var.
Jag tror det är bra.
Taking the exact same ice he had in number 9. Wide out turn. Pick a path they know. And go. Final rock of the extra end on its way. Ice has been good all the way across the sheets. 14.5 to 15 in there somewhere is what we're looking for. If you're a Team Sweden fan.
In på 4. Jag tar över klippa.
Not heavy, 15.5.
They got to go hard to get it there.
Oscar
what
Eriksson
a brush.
comes out and just gets it there.
15.5, hog to hog.
With that draw and that sweeping, both teams now at 2-1. And boy, oh boy.
And you see Oscar, who is fresh, just comes out and starts pounding it.
Never a doubt.
Wow, that was close.
Thanks, good luck. Good luck. Thanks, good luck. Good luck.
Now, good battle there on sheet D, and I said that was an important win for Dean to get to 2-1. Bring Team Italy back to the same record, and Oscar Eriksson with the assist on the sweep, I'd say. To the highlights of our feature game, Team China taking on Team RCF. And it was a closely missed double by Team China on their skips last that allowed this open hit for 2 for Glukov. Team RCF skip trying to make this curl, and this rock just moved enough. And watch this measurement, extremely close. The dial reached number 4, and this one within 1 point of the 4, but it was certainly a deuce there for Team RCF and really gave them some control of the game. 8th end, difficult shot for Zhou Xiang on his last, trying to play a little back 4-foot weight, tick and roll, and had the line right, but just an ounce light, and China held to 1 in the 8th end, and that put them in steal mode into the 9th, and really couldn't get much generated. Glukov made a beautiful hit and roll on his first, and this last stone here in the 9th end, basically the same shot he threw on his first, was perfectly thrown, hit and roll out, 2 points. That was enough to give Team RCF a 10-6 win here in our feature match on Sheet A in Session 5. So all the games now wrapped up. Norway handling Team Korea very easily on Sheet B. It was John Schuster, 7-5 winner from the United States over Germany. And the extra end match, Sweden defeating Italy 7-6 in a tightly contested battle. And our standings, 3 teams starting to move ahead. Canada, Norway, Team RCF still undefeated with 3 wins. Switzerland at 2-0. And there are 5 teams there at the bottom of the list still looking for their first win. Lots to be decided yet here in Calgary, as we'll head into Game 6 later today.
Congratulations on your win. What a great game. 3 wins to start this championship. What has got you thus far? What have you been doing to get those 3 wins?
So we try to find our concentration for the game, and we preparing a lot of mentally for this start. So yeah, good start, and we will keep working for this one.
That's great. You've had almost multiple ends, every end that you had hammer this game. How do you feel going into your next game? Do you have lots of confidence?
Now after the 3 wins, yes, for sure, we're feeling a little bit more confidence, but a lot of games forward. So, and we'll try to play like today.
Fantastic. Congratulations and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Winning skip, obviously happy with that one, and that'll wrap things up here from Draw 5 here in Calgary, Winsport Arena, as Draw 6 will be coming your way shortly of the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Men's Curling Championship 2021.
Hard.